All right. Okay, so I guess we can get started now. If any of you don't know me, I'm William. I'm the editor-in-chief of Misery Tourism, and this is our first Misery Loves Company reading thing. Just very quickly before we begin, I only ask that people mute their mics while someone's reading, just because even if you're being quiet, it's very easy for there to be background noise or something to interrupt, that could interrupt the person who's reading. I'm not going to be a real stickler to that. I want this to be kind of a laid back, kind of just fun, silly thing, but it would be good if somebody else is talking, if somebody else is reading, if you could just mute your mic. The way that tonight's kind of going to be structured is we have 6 people here right now who have signed up to read for tonight. Oh, wow, I've got a bunch of people who are joining the room as we speak. We have 6 people who have signed up to read for tonight. We had 2 people who signed up who have been moved to later night because things came up in their personal life and so on. So I'll kind of turn it over to each of the readers in turn, and then after they read, you guys can have a chance to ask them any questions or to talk about their work for a little bit if you want. And then once the 6 readers have read, we're going to have an open mic period of about an hour. During that time, when we open up the mic, I'll talk a little bit more about the procedure then, but basically just say in the chat, hey, I want to read. And Rudy, Misery Tourism co-owner and editor Rudy, are you here?
Yep.
Rudy will be monitoring the chat and he'll let me know who's next up to read.
Edgy Paula Dean.
Yeah, Edgy Paula Dean.
Also, I can match you, William, right now, kind of.
Really?
Almost. I mean, not really. Try.
So, yeah, so we'll just at that point go for about an hour with the open mic readings. If you don't get a chance to read today, just shoot me a DM on Twitter. We can schedule you for next week. I want this to be a weekly thing. And I think I've already talked for too long. So first up, we have Chris. And Chris is going to be reading from Fabrication. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link to what she's going to be reading in the chat. And I'm also going to tweet it out on Twitter. So, Chris, take it away.
All right. Fabrication, Part 1. Shock like a headshot to the system of the overdramatic playwright that is only interested in hedonistic endeavors. When told of great things, when told of horrible things, the devout look for a way to excuse his behavior because he claims to be one of them. Also, he's popular. He helps them gain more true followers, the kind that they know he isn't. But that's okay, because their relationship is mutually beneficial. At least, for now it is. It's hard not to laugh at the absurdity of it all. They say it's for the greater good, but they don't say how. They don't tell you what the greater good even is. Does their interpretation of it follow the same as yours? What do you think? What I think is irrelevant. The choice is yours to make. If I told you how I felt, it might influence your decision, and we can't have that. Not when the filthy cockroaches that say the clean clergymen and women are everywhere. The eyes and the walls and the floors and the dirt under it, they all have eyes and ears. And don't forget the ceilings either. They like to hide there too. They are vermin after all. You can't let your guard down. They'll crawl under your skin if you do that. Then you'll be compromised too. Me? I don't know if I am or not. Although I do worry every time I have an itch that just won't go away. I like to think my body hasn't been infiltrated, but one can never be too careful. That goes for you too. Probably even your family. Definitely your family. You're talking to me, after all. You should warn them. He's a creep. A hedonistic nihilist that uses his hedonism to his advantage and his nihilism to make excuses for his actions. Makes the rest of us look super bad by comparison because he's more well-known, and all I want to do is punch him in his smug-ass face. But I can't do that, because I could get in trouble. His fans, I'm not worried about, but the law enforcement, I am. Unless he has fans in law enforcement. Holy shit. Never even thought of that. He might have friends in high places. If he can run over the clergy, albeit temporarily, then maybe he can make it all the way to the top. Just because someone is in a position of power doesn't make them smart. Why do you think we've had so many shitty world leaders? Exactly, because charisma isn't like death. Charisma is picky. Either that, or a trickster who thinks it's funny to give the most horrid of people the best of looks, of charm. You have to look out for the pretty ones, just like you have to look out for the ugly ones, and everyone in between. Anyone could be the traitor. The spy, the person you most expected to be, the person you least expected to be, the one person you didn't even think of. I mean, come on, man, don't you see it? You might not be able to trust anybody, but you sure can distrust everybody. It's easier that way. Maybe not for your mental health, but that kind of shit's overrated anyways. Don't you think? Well, those neurotypicals like that asshole likes to talk about how they're so crazy because they're nice guys, or because they're not like other girls, because they watched a true crime show once and didn't think it was disgusting and gross and useless and nightmare inducing. Oh, they're so crazy because they think they're so different from the normies. What's wrong with being a normie? I like to be normal myself. This paranoia is eating me up, you know? I mean, I know I sound fine right now, but I can get pretty whacked out. At that time, I thought I could turn invisible and tried pranking people who were being mean to the ducks at the park. And then I got confused because I thought they couldn't see me, even though they could. Got into a lot of fights that day. Convinced myself the invisibility was only temporary, and that I used the time my powers were activated wisely. That was a trip. I wasn't even on drugs at the time. Now? No, man, that shit can kill you. I mean, sure, do it if you want, but don't force me into it. You won't? Cool. You know, you're pretty chill for someone who legit thought of becoming one of that guy's groupies. Anyways, I need to head out. Where? Home, man. Work's over. Still, we shouldn't have had this conversation. Just forget it ever happened. I probably will after a few beers. Huh? Kidney failure? Maybe. But it usually takes way longer than drugs to snipe your life, so I'm willing to risk that much in my life. I don't even drink a lot either, although getting wasted does sound like fun. Maybe you should both try it sometime. Or we should both try it sometime. You in? Hell yeah, you are. Bartender, what's the strongest thing you got? Give me a whole bottle. I'm splurging tonight. Heck, I'll even pay the cash up front. What do you say? Deal? Deal. Thanks, man. You're the best. What? Of course the money's real. I've been saving it for just such an occasion as this, getting pissed drunk and maybe even going home and remembering to drink water before I pass the fuck out after I vomited all the shit in my stomach and claimed my lunch. Honestly, I'm disappointed that you think so lowly of me. I got a job, so I wouldn't have to worry about doing this kind of thing. Although I guess it's not a good idea to carry too much cash on me. Regardless, who knows what kind of thief or twisted cop will be fine with taking my money in my life. Even both. At any rate, I really don't think you should be so quick to write me off as some sort of con man or something. Then again, I guess I did talk about how easy it was to just trust everybody than to trust anybody. And I was right then, too. Do as I say, not as I do. Remember that, and you would do just fine, kid. Hey, you may be older than I am, but I'm still your higher up. Don't tell me that's why you thought I'd be the type to steal. Come on, you can't just stereotype me like that. I mean, you said you do drugs. Okay, you might not have said it, but it sounded to me like you were implying it. Anyways, older or not, I'm still technically your boss. I wouldn't fire you for being that kind of an ass, but I'm definitely the kind of person who'd be vindictive about that kind of thing. I worked hard to get where I am, and don't forget it. Why wouldn't I? I live alone and I like it. Small house, civil job, perfect life. At least it is for me. I mean, think about it. I can live how I want to. If I don't feel like talking to someone outside of work, I don't have to. If I just want to stay at home and lay on my floor, that's my prerogative. All the furniture is mine, and I can have my house set up however I want it to. Being single and attached is the best. But do I have sex? I don't. That's too much work for not enough payout. Also, I'm a selfish bitch who would just lay there and not give anything back. Nah, man, I'm good at being single, free, and sexless. I don't need anything more than that, just as much as I don't want any of that. Anyways, we should drink up before the night passes us by. I came here to get shit-faced, goddammit, I'm gonna do it. Bottoms up! Hey, do you know where the water fountain is? I want to get something to drink before I head home. It'll clear my head so I'm not fucking drunk while I'm walking. Who knows, maybe I won't vomit too much either. That's not very likely, but it's worth a shot, yeah? So, I was thinking about last night. Never even saw how you did when we left the bar. Did everything go okay? I mean, I know you're here at work at all, but how are you feeling? Not too hungover, I hope. No? Good, because I feel like absolute shit. I didn't want to take any sick leave though, since I want to use some of it for a nice vacation a bit. Besides the booze money, I've been saving up for a trip to see my parents. It's been a while, and I want them to see how I've been doing. They worry too much, and I want to make sure they see that I'm not failing miserably at life without them to help me. I love them, but they're super overprotective. Always have been, probably always will be. Still, this might ease their fears a bit, especially since I don't have a significant other or whatever. If there's one thing my dad told me, there's one thing my dad always told me, it was no hanky-panky. What's that? Sex? Duh. Jesus, how old are you? 3? Whatever. Doesn't matter. Just remember what I said yesterday. See ya. They looked so confused as I turned to walk away, but I'm not sure why they would be. I haven't exactly been cryptic with my advice. Besides, I've got enough seniority that they should probably just listen to anything I say, even if they are older than I am. Age is so arbitrary after a certain time. Sure, a toddler isn't as knowledgeable or able to give as good advice as an adult. I get that. But a 25-year-old and a 35-year-old aren't nearly as different in landscape as a 5 and a 15-year-old. And there's not even that much of an age gap between us. There's less than 4 years difference. And I'm not in my early 20s anymore. Whatever. It's no skin off my back if they don't want to take my advice. I'm the one who's higher up than they are. If they don't want to respect that, then that's their problem, not mine. Anyways, enough about them. I have work to do, and this is bugging the programming that's been bothering me, and I'm not quite sure whether or not I can do anything about it because of my higher-ups. Things have been so crazy lately, and I don't know what to do about it, if I even could do anything about it in the first place. I just don't think I can keep up with whatever is screwing with the systems, but my boss doesn't care. None of them do. They just want me to fix it without actually helping me do anything. Honestly, I'm worried they don't actually have any idea as to what their job is supposed to be, or how to do it. Maybe that's why they're making me do all the heavy lifting. They can blame me for everything that went wrong and keep their stupid cushy jobs and their stupid cushy chairs that they spent too much money on because they could. I wouldn't mind it as much if they weren't so obnoxious about it. You're in high school anymore, people. Why do you think any of your underlings are impressed by your money? If anything, it just makes us hate you more. We aren't teenagers blinded by the rich and mildly famous. We're adults who have to work for a living and just want to survive and live happy, fulfilling lives. Or, at the very least, survive and not want to die from stress. Sometimes you can hear them laughing. Not in real life, of course, but in my head. I know it's not actually happening, that it's all in my head, but the fact remains that I actually can hear them, and it's annoying. I don't like hearing their actual voices, let alone hear them mocking me and my coworkers in my head. Maybe my subconscious is trying to make me want to kill them even more than I already do. Or maybe it's a conspiracy. Maybe those cockroaches I'm talking about are less insect-like and more human-like. Is there really a difference in them if that's the case, though? Helping their evil overlords by physically sending their laughing voices straight into my brain? Trying to make me snap because I'm the only one who actually knows the truth about them. That they aren't human at all. I'm not actually working in reality, but I'm instead stuck in an alternate universe in mind only, and my physical body is somewhere in the realm of the truly living, where the people I actually care about are worried sick because I'm in a coma that I can't wake up from. I want to wake up, there's no doubt about it, but there's something holding me back, even though I know the truth. Maybe it's them. The ones who have me like this in the first place. Maybe they thought there was something I could be useful for, and that's why they won't let me wake up, even though I know their scheme. Maybe it's the fact that I know they have one in the first place. But who would believe me about this if I told them? Would anybody from my waking life do anything other than think I was making it up, or was just a coma dream? Maybe they don't want to take the chance. Maybe me being like this, in this state, is blackmailing my family into staying obedient and not having this happen to them. I don't know. I can't remember. This whole thing is clearly a scheme in some way, shape, or form. So the real question is, what is the scheme in question? Did I find out and they did this to me so I'd never tell? Did they erase any of my memories? Oh God. Did they fabricate any of my memories? Maybe they aren't my family. The people who are waiting for me. Maybe that's why I hear the laughs. Because they're waiting for me, making fun of me in real life, and that is my brain's way of telling me to wake up, to face them head on. But maybe I'm too scared to. Maybe the reason I can't wake up is due to some injury I don't remember sustaining because it was a head wound. There are so many questions with no answers, but too many possibilities, and I don't know how to handle it. Just like I don't know how to handle this bug in the programming, this strange glitch in the system that just won't go away. Does the glitch have anything to do with it? Or am I jumping to conclusions? Either way, I have to deal with this thing regardless, so I might as well do something about it. I say this as if I haven't already done so much to try and figure this thing out. My lunch break is soon, and I am getting hungry. Maybe I'll be able to figure out after I eat. This whole thing started today, so maybe I'm still too beat from hanging that hangover thanks to last night. Honestly, I'm beginning to worry my new underling is the culprit. Maybe they had help too. After all, I was with them the whole time, and then they drank. So maybe they were a distraction? A way to make sure I was preoccupied so I wouldn't catch on to their scheme? Shit. What if this is the work of my bosses? What if this is another scheme? Just another part of this whole messed up situation. They have to know I'm onto them. I need to leave. When I head out to lunch, I should just head home and make sure to disappear. I need to get out of here. I need to book it. Maybe go off the grid. I don't have any bills to deal with other than the internet and my cell phone and the stuff everyone else has to pay, like water and electric and stuff. I'll also be sure to save up enough money just in case something like this happened. I'll definitely be careful about it. I have to make sure I'm inconspicuous about it. I'm worried now. They suspect something? Did they know I would figure it out? Were they at least counting on the possibility I would figure it out so soon? I don't know. The sooner I make it out of here, the better. My new underling is looking for me, and now it feels like everyone's eyes are on me. They're looking at me, and they don't know why I'm being so avoidant, but I already know my status has been compromised, and I have to make it out alive. I have to. My life may not be much, but it's mine, and I'll leave this world in my own way. Whether it's reality or this fabricated piece of trash where psychic waves can penetrate my mind and bother me just by virtue of them being there. I won't let the insects and the bugs and the fake followers as some cult or religion or just some celebrity who shouldn't be as famous as he actually is. Maybe that's part of everything too. I don't know. I don't have the answers. I don't have any answers. Not yet. I will eventually, but I have to leave now if I want to make the best use of my time. Sooner rather than later. Time is of the essence. Another time-based cliche. Whatever you want to say, whatever phrase you wanted to use, it all amounts to the same thing. I need to get out of here and on the run, ASAP. But there's a problem. They're looking for me. Not just the newbie, but my bosses as well. They're already trying to get rid of me. They've started the process of taking me out. They're trying to. But I won't let them get me, and I won't let them get to me. The life I was leading, my nice, sweet, simple life, is now gone. It's as much a part of my past as my former job. I didn't get to eat lunch, but that's all right. I'll eat something once I'm on the road. Far away from here, I don't know how high up in the government their influence goes, but I know they have some pull somewhere inside of it. They have to, if they can hire someone with the ability and or the technology to send those things into my brain past my skull. I bet not even tinfoil could hide my thoughts and innermost desire from these bastards. Then again, I never tried it. But I also don't want to be mistaken for someone like the kind of people who believe in the Illuminati and or reptilians controlling people. If I even attempted to do something like that, I'm sure they'd find out and laugh at me because of it. They find a way. They always find a way to laugh at me. They don't use words to make fun of me. They don't need to get across their ridicule. Why put in the extra effort of coming up with insults you may need to one up at some point later in time? No. What they were doing was much more efficient. I need to find others like me. But how do I even go about doing that? How do I find people who aren't just testing me or humoring me, or worse, one of them? I don't know. I'll figure it out, though. I will. I have to. Even if I have to go through this whole process alone, I will get through this. I will get through everything and come out victorious. I will survive, and I will not let them get away with anything they have done to me. They will pay for all of it, and I will win and be able to gloat and return to reality. To the reality that I belong in, not this fake fabrication that makes a mockery of the true life. When I get back to true reality, the first thing I'm going to do is eat my favorite dish. Eat my favorite food and savor the flavor. The aroma of a freshly cooked meal and the feel of knife and fork in my hand. Maybe a pair of chopsticks, depending on what I decide to eat first. An Asian dish would definitely be best. Maybe sushi or udon soup or tempura chicken or soba noodles, or a combination of at least two of those things. Whatever I decide on, I can't wait for it. To be able to taste food again, my mouth is probably watering at the thought. My eyes water at the thought of being able to see things without this strange, grainy filter that gives everything a grayish tinge whenever I'm awake inside this fabrication. When I'm asleep, I can see color. Bright, beautiful, vibrant color that makes me want to take in as much as I possibly can. Even the bad dreams. The ones where I'm being chased or attacked or made fun of, even those dreams have more color than this false reality. I'm so ambivalent towards dreams. On the one hand, they let me see all of this color. On the other hand, they're usually bad. Usually nightmares. Probably just another part of this horrendous thing. Just another way to make me feel like I'm going crazy and for them to take advantage of the situation. But I won't let them. I'm through just letting them dictate how my life will be. Once I wake up, I'm going to live my dream life and be able to enjoy what living has to offer, without the downsides of the impaired colors and the horrible laughing and the scheming and everything else that's wrong, but I can't list right off the top of my head. I've slipped them for now, made my way through every obstacle to get out of my work building into the crowded streets of the city I work in. My house is a decent drive away from my former workplace, but I don't dare to drive my car home. For all I know, they have it bugged and are waiting for me to take it so they can track me down. All my work is back in the office. The only thing I have on me are my clothes. So unless they have certain surgically inserted in my brain, which I wouldn't doubt they do, all I have to do is make my way through the crowds into my small house, hopefully without being followed. As long as I'm vigilant and don't look suspicious, I should be able to make it without a hitch. My home is far enough away that they've managed to get there before me. I can see them surrounding the entire street, and I have to ask myself if there's anything I need that being on the road can't provide. I need to get to the bank. I need to withdraw as much money as possible, and I need to do it quick. That way, I don't have to worry about my card suddenly declining. Or worse, my card declining and they find and capture me because of it. I won't let them do it. I will not be caught, and I refuse to be caught. Silently and carefully, I make my way back the way I came. Thankfully, the bank isn't busy, nor have they realized I'm taking money out. Or I'm planning to at all. They've been on top of the game so far. But, just in case somebody at the bank also works for them, I had to make sure I don't spend any more time than absolutely necessary. I finished their transaction. The teller didn't seem suspicious of me at all. Bored, maybe, but not suspicious. That's good. If she wasn't just acting, then I got nothing to worry about. Now it comes to her. Still, I have to hurry. I have to get out and make sure they don't see me. Make sure they don't find me. For the first time in a long time, since I first started living in my home, in fact, I feel reinvigorated. I can do this. I can do this. Even though being on the run sucks, I think I've gotten used to it. I don't want to have gotten used to it, but there's not much I can do about it. Not yet, anyways. Maybe I should fake my own death. That might work. If they think I'm dead, they might even release me from this prison they put me in. Everything is so tedious nowadays, and I'm not sure how I'm going to cope with the lifestyle I've come to know. I don't like living on the road. Never even wanted to live on the road or on the run, just like I don't even like having a vacation longer than 3 or 4 days. I go stir crazy quick, and I just want to get out and have more of a structured routine involving work and earning a paycheck. Just because I prepared for this inevitability financially doesn't mean I was prepared mentally. I would never have been able to handle this completely. I've never been able to handle this kind of stress at all in the first place. To live it, to have to live it because I know too much is a horrible fate. Maybe I was wrong, though. Maybe I shouldn't have left. Maybe if I had stayed, I would have at least been able to pretend that nothing was wrong, to make it seem like I didn't really care about all the stuff they were doing to me and all the stuff they were having me doing. How do I know the real world is better than this made-up one? I have no memories of what life was like before all this, before everything, before this was me and how things were for me. I feel robbed. I don't know if they took the memories from me or if they just made the real life seem better in comparison and mess with me. What if I've been following into their trap this whole time? They have plenty of it. For all I know, less time has passed than I think. Just because I sleep doesn't mean a lot of time has passed after all. How can I know the difference between a nap and a full night's sleep? I can't. The clock doesn't work in this thing I bought for less than $1,000. I was even warned about it by the seller. And I'm moving so much I don't even have the time to look at a clock. Get in, get what I need, do what I need, get out. Lather, rinse, repeat. Boom, there you have it. That's my life. What am I doing? How can I live like this? Am I living, or am I just surviving? It's such a big difference that it should be obvious. But I don't know. I don't know anything. I've been running around so much I don't even have time to search for answers. But if I faked my death, maybe things would get better. Maybe I could avoid them long enough that I can stop looking over my shoulder and actually do some research. Figure out what my options are and go from there. Do I even have any options? Did I ever? I don't know. There it is, though. That phrase again. It's as discomforting as it is an all-encompassing factor in my life. For so long, I've had so many questions and scenarios running through my head, none of which I can do anything about until the event in question happens. The event that will make my story continue. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Did I ever? Will I ever? I don't know. I won't know until it happens. Or until I can prove it, depending on what part of my life or the human condition we're talking about. There's so much that I don't know, and there's not much happening that will let me figure it out. That will or would or could help me out. I feel like I'm wasting away, becoming a shell of my former self. I'm not coping well. Maybe I should kill myself. But for real, though. My parents stopped contacting me and are probably even dead. Possibly even dead. I can't think of worst case scenarios, or I'll end up making myself even more despondent than I already am. Leaving this life on the road, on the run, being nothing, doing nothing but looking over my shoulder like some suspicious weirdo who did something wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. If anything, I'm the one who's being victimized. I've been forced onto the road, wandering aimlessly and without purpose. I didn't have purpose at work either. Not really. At least I had a job that paid well enough to let me live my life alone in that small, quaint house I'd always dreamed of living in. No roommates or significant other to bother me, and I could always go to a friend that had a pet if I wanted to cuddle with an animal, and didn't even need to get a pet of my own to do it. Such bliss was my former life. Sure as a life led in a strange reality created by others, but it was still my perfect life. It was the life I'd always dreamed of, but now it's gone and I made it happen. I did this to myself. I know I had to, but I don't like it. I hate it. I hate that my life has been reduced even further into nothingness and despair. No. No, 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 no. I can't let them win. I won't let them win. I have to take them on in a full frontal assault. I have to do this, and I have to start on this soon. Now. I have to do this now, or I never will, or I'll be stuck like this. Stuck with this surviving, this non-living, and the fear of dying in this state. I can't let that happen to me. I just can't. And that's why I'm here. I'm finally here, and I can't back down now. I won't back out now. I'll get all the answers I need, and I'll do it today, or I really will die trying. No more half-assing it, no more speculation, just action and the will and the drive to succeed. I can't overlook things, not anymore. I have to let myself stay in the current moment and not time travel somewhere that might never even actually come into existence. This is my time to shine. Those were my thoughts that I doubly concentrated on infiltrating my old place of work. They had buffed up the security for some reason I didn't know. Maybe if I let myself do some research, I'd know, but it's too late now. I'll just have to find a way around them. Hopefully my original escape route has still been undetected. It has. It's like none of them noticed it but me, just like when I had used it to leave. I used the strange glitch in the wall to get inside. I wonder if there are more glitches like this around. If so, I can use them to my advantage. If there aren't, then I'll just have to count on me and myself alone, just like I had been before. Without paying enough attention, I accidentally touch a spot of the border of the glitch with my hand, and, for the first time in possibly years, I can feel something. As if my sense of touch has returned for the briefest moment, my skin comes into contact with it. I jerk my hand away. The glitched spot has gotten slightly bigger, and I can't help but stare. I wait for the size of it to decrease, but it doesn't. I look at my hand, and there's a faint glow to the whole thing. Is this some kind of power? Do I have the power of a glitch now? The glitch? If so, I do know that I can use this to my advantage, maybe even get out of here with it. But I'm getting ahead of myself. First things first. I need some concrete answers, and I need them ages ago. I don't get the answers I need from the disgruntled employee I managed to sneak up on, but I do get something out of the guard who comes out to me and asks what I'm doing and how I got in here, because I don't have an ID badge and I need one for this floor. When he grabs me, I push him away with my glowing hand, and he just airs out. Becomes static and fizzles out like the screen of an old television set that got turned off. Blinked either out of existence and or out of this fake reality. Either way, at least now I know I have both a way to defend myself and an ability that will give me a leg up on getting information from those who might be unwilling to hand it out without problem and or complaint. Just to be sure, I touch a plant with my glowing hand. It fizzles out just like the guard did. One second, I'm sorry.
Okay. That's okay. Yeah, well, we're waiting for...
Oh, I got it. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Never mind.
I'm sorry. I got it. It's just my phone going off.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Let's see here. It fizzles out just like the guard did. The disgruntled employee was in shock, but now they're running away, either to get help or to seek safety. Whatever he's trying to do, I let him go regardless. I may need to be more careful with the guards, though, and I need to make sure I don't touch anything with my glowing hand that I want to keep intact. That way I can use cover. I also need to make sure they don't touch a wall or the floor, just in case they fizzle out too. At least now I know this isn't some kind of strange hallucination. It can't be. I really am stuck inside some fake reality. How I got here, I still don't know, but at least now I have a way to find out. Now I am the one with the upper hand, and I intend to take full advantage of that, which is easier said than done, with all the guards and other employees now aware of my presence here. Everything's gone to hell in a handbasket. Shit hasn't hit the fan quite yet, but there are a lot of security guys trying to capture me. Why they haven't tried to kill me, I don't know, but I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. Maybe I should even let myself get captured, make them think they have the upper hand so I don't have to show all my cards first. Or maybe even at all. But then I run in the risk of them doing something to make sure I have no trace up my sleeve, or attached to my wrist, and then where would I be? I don't know if they have any clue about this ability or what it's truly capable of. It's their ability after all. They know the whole place better than I do, especially after all this time of being on the run. So I just keep doing what I've been doing, and what I've been doing is going on the offensive. They can't stop me. They won't stop me. I will get my answers. Hell, I may even return to reality along the way. There are news clippings in the room I found myself in. Raiding such a giant building has been a chore, and I still need to find the codes for the room belonging to the big bossmen themselves. Is there a woman there too? I don't know. I was never all that interested in the higher-ups and the stockholders and the investors of the company. I was much more content to just live my life as I had been until this whole mess. The clippings are all about this company that I used to work for. They had some sort of important technology in the works that they were going to unveil. They never had the chance to. Something about the original volunteer test subject not reacting well to it. The articles didn't say what kind of technology it was supposed to be, just that the first tester had reacted so badly to it that they had ended up in a coma. No word of the subject's name or age or date of birth or even their gender or even what they identified as. All the articles focused on were the company. This company, and how they somehow didn't go bankrupt despite the subject falling into that coma. In fact, they were apparently doing better than ever. They had to be, considering the amount of security in this building on this floor alone. I've been in this room too long. They're probably going to find me if I stay here much longer. I'm going to see if I can get into the air vents. They might be dusty, but I can't feel anything, and as long as I'm careful with my glowing hand, I should be fine. I should be fine. I've made it this far without the elevator, and I can make it even farther. I have to make it farther. The head of security is the one I'm looking for. I figure they're probably in the main security office, giving out orders to everyone else. I haven't seen anybody who looks like they could be more important than all the pallet swaps I've been seeing from the security guards and some of the employees. I'm not sure where the security office is, but I'm pretty well hidden, so I'm not too worried about being found out at this moment. What I am worried about is whether or not I'll be able to stay as well hidden as I am. My arm is getting sore from pulling to my chest, and keeping it as hidden and out of the way as possible. Not to mention it's hard to crawl like this. But I'll persevere. I have to. I've been doing it so far, and I can keep doing it now. I have to keep doing it now. I'm the only one who can stop this. I'm the only one who can do anything. I have this power, after all. I can do this, and I can do it better than anyone else could, considering the circumstances. Or in general. No matter how things go, or could have gone, I'm the one in this situation. I'm the one in control of things right now. Maybe not completely, but I can be. I will be. Wait, what's that? Have I found the security room? Is that the head of security? Maybe the assistant? Regardless of who it is, everyone in the room seems to be in a panic frenzy. One of them is in a red suit and barking out orders. His subordinates seem to be pretty worried about him, in so much as they're worried he'll go off on them. What are they saying? What is he talking about? A patient? The patient? The one from the newspaper articles? Did something happen to the patient? Have they been keeping tabs on this person the whole time? At the very least, they've been trying to. Apparently, the patient has gotten away and are on the run somewhere in the building. This building. Good for them. Maybe I'll see them at some point. Although, since I don't know what they look like, I may have seen them already and didn't know it. Or maybe they snuck past me at some point and I didn't know it. I wonder if we crossed paths before when I still worked for the company, blissfully unaware that there was anything wrong or sinister or worse. I wonder for how long I was oblivious, how long I lived my life in this false reality, unaware of anything that was going on around me, unscrupulous of it otherwise. It sounds like they're more worried about the patient than they are about me, which is fine since it gives me more leeway in staying undetected. Not to mention having more than one thing to worry about will strain their resources. Paranoia. Apparently the patient is paranoid about something. I should probably be careful too then. Make sure they know that I'm a potential ally in the fight against this evil corporation. How cliche is that, though? The evil corporation trying to take over the world. Then again, it's cliche for a reason. It's cliche because it's true. Giant corporations and conglomerates are evil. How else do you think they get so big and powerful? Exploitation. That's how. Exploiting workers and products and consumers and dirty police officers and dirty politicians, as well as the very earth itself. Nothing is off limits for the gaping maw of the disgusting rot that is late-stage capitalism, which is why we should eat the rich and never look back, both literally and figuratively. None of them are off limits, not even their babies. I may be digressing from the situation, though. They're still yelling and shouting, and the guy in the red suit is getting even angrier. His patience is wearing thin, and the patient still hasn't been found. I need to do something myself. I can't just stay here. I have important things to do and unfinished business to take care of. So I make my move. I touch the grate separating me from the security room, and I drop down from the air vent, even landing on some guy that I'm able to take hostage. Everyone in the room is screaming and shouting, including me. I'm screaming and shouting too. Nobody can tell what anybody else is saying, but everyone is still barking orders and statements to everyone else, and it's a madhouse. But I make sure to keep a solid grip on my hostage. If I have to, I will make an example out of him. But I don't want to have to. That would make things too easy for them, or they might panic and do something stupid that I can't account for one reason or another. Also, they might think I'm bluffing, and then, when they least expect it, I can unleash my secret weapon. That is, if everyone would just calm down long enough for me to give my demands. Shut up! Good. Now that I have your attention, I have demands that need to be met. No, you shut up. I'm talking now, and you better listen if you don't want to lose your trusted employee. You don't, do you? You think I won't off him if I have to, then you're very sorely mistaken. Because I don't know this guy, and I care way more about getting the vengeance and retribution that I deserve than some guy who probably thinks I'm just some sort of monster or pawn or crazy person, just like the rest of you do. Oh, don't look so surprised. You think I don't know this is all just some fabrication? You think I don't know that none of this is real and all of you are just as much in on everything as I am? Just because you work for the assholes behind this doesn't mean you're any better or smarter than me. If anything, you're even bigger pawns than I am. You think they're going to let you live like nothing's wrong after they're done with you? No, you're all expendable. You're all as expendable as everyone else. And don't give me that look. Don't give me that pitying look. I will show you just how wrong you are. Flinging my arm out to the nearest object, I touch it with my glowing hand, and it blinks out of existence. Just like everything else I touch with that hand. Everything this hand touches disappears, just like that thing, and just like he will if you don't listen to and follow my orders. Capiche? That's what I thought. They're listening intently to my demands, even if the guy in the red suit is still visibly angry. As long as he doesn't try anything stupid, he'll be fine. They'll all be fine. But they have to make sure they don't do anything stupid. You hear me? Don't do anything stupid, asshole. You and them have to make sure they know who's in charge now. Of course, I'm not going to be complacent enough to think none of them have anything up their sleeves. Or will have anything up their sleeves, for that matter. In fact, I can tell that the guy in the red suit is coming up with multiple plans, if not at least one. Even having just one is still dangerous, though. Any one of them having any plan of any kind is dangerous and should be nipped in the bud in order to ensure the safety of me and those around them and the rest of us. After all, I need to get to the main office, and they need to stay alive just in case I need some cannon fodder. You never know when any of them could prove useful in any way, shape, or form, so you have to make sure you don't just get rid of them willy-nilly. You never know which one of them could prove useful for whatever reason, and you never know the strengths and weaknesses of somebody who you know nothing about and have never even observed in the wild. I'd say something about a dog-eat-dog world if I wanted to be all pretentious about it and wanted to make myself out to be some sort of asshole, thinks that the strongest should lord over the weakest, which is a bullshit ideology because you never know who's best at what, because every person is different. Even twins that look alike can be different personality-wise. Just like twins can also be different look and or gender-wise. That's what you call a fraternal twin, you know? And look at me, rambling on as more important stuff is happening. Stuff like the fact that I'm being led to the main office while making sure I'm paying attention to my surroundings so I don't get ambushed by anybody, including the people in the group I'm currently the head of. After all, anybody can be a traitor in action if not exclusively in thought, and those are the most dangerous. The ones that keep thinking about it are more likely to get fed up with waiting and imagining and just go for the gusto, even when they're scared to do it. I mean, what's the point of just imagining scenarios, both good and bad? After all, you can just look to me for the confirmation that just putting your fears to the wayside can result in the best case scenario, as long as you work for it and do what you can, regardless of the consequences you've thought up in your head. And that was how we got into this predicament. The moment I made my hostage and put the code number to the office is when shit finally hits the fan. Suddenly, everyone around me is shouting about the patient and how dangerous they are. They're shouting about looking out for a glitch, and all I can think of is, oh, I'm the patient. That makes a lot of sense, actually. Granted, hindsight can be a bitch, but that's not applicable at the moment. Also unimportant. It doesn't matter if I'm the patient or not, or maybe it does. Either way, the bigger deal is the fact that I need to get my demands out into the open without them shouting, all of you shut up! If you don't want them to die, what? Who cares? The glitch is mine now. I ain't telling you shit about where or how I got it. I'm in charge now, and I intend to take advantage of it like you took advantage of me. No, shut up. You shut the fuck up. I'm running things now, and I demand that you wake me up. Now. Don't play dumb with me. I'm already sick and tired of your bullshit. Don't think I'll hesitate to fuck everyone up here. You don't want to know what I'm willing to do to any of you at this point. So, no. Don't you fucking test me. That's right. Ain't so fucking tough now, are you? Not when I can do that kind of shit. And if you don't want to end up blinked out of existence, then you better fucking do as I say and take me seriously while you're doing it. So wake me up.
Wow, that was great.
I was sick.
Thank you.
Yeah, when I first got that submission, I was pretty blown away.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's pure consciousness. It's great.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That must have been a real marathon to read, too.
Yeah.
It was,
because there's like such emotional intensity, and it kind of builds over the course of the piece. So
I'm glad you think so.
Okay, next up, I think we have Patrick Kilgore. Is Patrick here? I think I saw him. Oh,
Wait,
sorry.
wait.
Arius is screaming, wait, yes?
Wait, do we ask questions? Can we ask questions afterwards?
Oh, yeah,
or
sure,
no?
sure, absolutely, yeah. 100.
Okay, I mean, even if this goes into my own time, I don't care. Wait, did
No,
you read
no,
all of this at
I don't
once?
have a stopwatch or anything.
Okay. Yeah. So did you read all of it at once?
The first part, yes.
It's all a block of text. What first part?
Like the first part of like that block of text that I just read is the first part of fabrication. There's a second part that I did not read or put up on XPAT.
Oh. I see. Also, I didn't mean block of text in a bad way. Like, I love blocks of text. I love Mercy by Andrew Dworkin. Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, so also there's this one part that reminded me of Crash by the Lunatics, and then I loved your dialogue so much, like how you would talk to yourself and how you talk to others.
Speaking of blocks of text, I see
handwriting.
Damien Ark was here. Is he gone?
I saw him.
What? No, he's right there.
Hey, what's
His
up?
beautiful face, it's right
He's
there.
got 2 huge blocks of text coming out soon. I'm just going to plug them right now shamelessly.
I know, that's why I brought up this thing, and that's
Well, maybe we can talk Damien into.
anyway, I
the
love
open
how
mic then. Okay, did anyone else have anything
you
to
have
ask
to. You
Chris?
read that, yeah.
And we can also, if you think of something later, we can also. There's going to be an open mic period and then kind of a social period at the end. So.
To Mullane in the chat, I really appreciate what you said about the feeling it shift gears to go into the final sprint. I appreciate that.
Okay, then I think Patrick, are you here?
Yeah, hi. Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
Patrick. So Patrick Kilgore is up next, and you're going to be reading some poems, right? And these are actually not published yet, but will be published, I believe, in the coming couple of weeks over at Terror House, right?
Yeah, these poems are going to be up first week in August over at Terror House.
Sweet, awesome. Well, take it away.
Okay. The first poem I'm going to be reading is called Janice and Chains. It's just kind of about the whole COVID situation. It did not come by rats. It did not come by soldiers. It came with a warm handshake and a bless you, excuse me. It came with the swift hand of the state, filled with holes like Swiss cheese. And it came on the wings of a bat, in the luggage compartment of Airbuses, and down the corridors of megaliners, leaving those who fear death the most staring back at themselves in mortality's mirror. Use avarice, vampiric draining, Janice and Chains. The passing of time's gears grind to a halt, all in the name of public health. The men over the hill, locked in their stucco houses, have done nothing but take sandblasters to their own tombstones. 6 months. 6 months. I will trade your freedom for 6 more months. Canceled shipments, a kink in the supply chain, the end to next day deliveries. The siren song of mercantilism echoes along nostalgia's catacombs. Nurses and doctors put on minstrel shows and bask in the glory of their newfound praises. A hero's calling, viewed through the lenses of binoculars, justified by the preservation of that which they have plenty. Endless nights, days darkened by eyelids. My reverse 9 to 5. Poems written under warm white light, and all because of a little cough. And that is the first one. And then the second one I will be reading is called Last Tuesday. I finished off a 6-pack. I wish the titty bar wasn't closed. I'll be there right now instead of sitting on my floor. If I lived in the city, I could at least pay for sex. I am plagued by my own temptations. I would rather not resort to watching pornography. You do what you can to relieve yourself. Forgive me for my sin. I am a broken man, lust's glorious slave. Maybe I will keep drinking and pass out drunk. Maybe I will piss the bed. I think I would just rather fall asleep, so I did. And those are the 2.
That's great. Now, did anyone have any questions, comments for Patrick, or?
That was sick.
That was really good, yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Now that actually went really fast. I don't know. Would you maybe have a third poem that
Yeah,
you want to
I
share?
mean, I could read something else.
Yeah,
Just give me
cool.
one
Awesome.
second.
Someone says, wait, there was a chat this whole time. Yeah, just in case someone's unaware, there's a chat button at the bottom, and I'll be putting the links to the pieces that people are reading into the chat when they start.
Right. I'll read an excerpt from my poem called "The Trial of Moloch and Dionysus." It's up on Terror House. I'm going to read part 3. No, well, Dionysus, I am Dionysus, I am Bacchus. I have done nothing to deserve this. All I have brought this world are pleasures and ecstasies, drink, drugs, sex, highs, hallucinations, hysteria, mania, lunacy, orgasm, soma, nothing but fulfilled desires, complete relief. I am the reason that the whores and harlots are half price. Who do you think has convinced the priest's daughters to give it up for free? I was the one who passed the Communications Decency Act. I lifted you up out of your Puritanism and brought you into the modern world. I am Janet Jackson's teat. I am the hot-blooded romance of Hollywood. I am the reason there is a bar on every corner and why you can buy marijuana at a dispensary. I am happy hour and $1 drink wells. I help cultivate the tobacco fields where they grow, and I am he who compels the gas station to sell cigarettes at the lowest price allowed by the state. I am the soldiers in Arabia who guard the poppy fields. I am the doctor who so carelessly prescribes the world opium. Who do you think it was had made the alcohol in your drink so strong? I am the preservatives in your food that make them taste so good. I am the delivery boy who brings you dishes from a different culture every night of the week. I am the aisles in your supermarket overflowing with food. I am the sugar in your dessert. I am pornography on demand. I am the normalization of sex dolls. It is I who causes every vibrator to shake, and I am the one who pleasures the cam whores you love to donate your money to online. How else do you expect to get your satisfaction out of the power process? I am the catalyst for your money to cause an orgasm. I am the caffeine in your coffee and the estrogen in your milk. I have modified the genetics of all your produce so the yield is greater and the tastes are much more pronounced. I am cheap labor that drives the price of your food so low. I am every microbrewery and whiskey bar in your city. I keep the whores warm in the winter. I was the one who stained your aunt's lips red with wine and the dog that your father has trained to fetch him beer. I am the degeneracy that has brought all such pleasure, the serotonin and dopamine that fire off inside your head, the uncontrollable laughter when you are high, every fractal you see when you trip, and all the light shows that play on your eyelids when you shut them. If I am guilty of anything, I am guilty of bringing people joy in a world of suffering and nothing more. What need do I have to read you of your charges if you so proudly boast about them yourself? Dionysus joined Moloch in front of my throne. The chamber is silent. Everything reeks of blood. The trial has ended. This was a kangaroo court. And that's the end of part 3.
Oh man, I fucking
Yeah.
loved that one. Honestly, I
That was
really
good.
did.
That was good.
Do you have a link?
Oh
to that,
yeah.
by the way, if you do, maybe you could.
Yep,
stick it in
I
the
can
chat.
post the link to that in the chat right now.
Oh, that's sweet. That's
Oh,
awesome.
sick. You should tweet it out.
All right, cool. I can do that as well.
No. I mean, well, yeah, anybody can.
Yeah. If you put it in the chat, I can add it to the little tweet thread I have going about the reading. Okay, cool. So next up, I believe is TW Selvey. TW, are you here at the moment? I know I saw you earlier.
Yeah, I'm here.
Cool. So you're going to be reading, I believe, a piece called Figuratively Speaking?
Figuratively speaking, yes, indeed.
Awesome. I'm going to put that in the chat right now, and you can take it away.
Cool. Thank you.
Set
Thank you
that
for
in the
hosting.
message. Just a second.
Huh?
Now it's in the chat. Okay.
All right. Thank you for hosting this. This is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm having a hell of a lot of fun right now, and hopefully everyone is. So, yeah, eager to hear what you've got to present.
Cool. All right, so this is something that I've entitled Figuratively Speaking. I guess a little preamble is that I normally write something like poetry, but I wanted to try writing things that were more like fiction, but then don't really care so much for writing stories or using plot or characters. So what do I have left? I don't know, just random lines, random paragraphs that seem very disjointed. So such as that may be, here we are. I'm going to read this piece called Figuratively Speaking. People from the future are stupid. They must know what happened. Not to lecture, but countless misconceptions always arise and the subject tiringly turns back to time. To summarize the position of the post-quantal school of psychophysicists, it can be said that time slices, and also time is a slice. When the subject turns to time making a slice, a piece gets lopped off. Like cutting off a fingertip while dicing vegetables. It's self-inflicted. Juice and widely quoted proclamations chopped up in dozens of dead languages wet the butcher's apron with runny antimatter, the yolk of origins. Try to repair the parts and recreate the whole, but it's an exercise that's both cosmic and futile. I meant to say comic and futile. The future is not a place, as if upon departing a senile mode of transportation simply ambles along a path, forgetting events while they're occurring, as the passengers watch their home era recede into the distance. No, the future unrolls if it goes back. The universe is the highest grade fiber optic line we can afford on our veteran discount, but time reverts to analog VHS tape when idiots mash buttons on the controller's controls. The rich try anyway, believing that time travel is an affordable way to take advantage of monetary inflation. The past is so cheap, is their way of thinking, dumping trillions into prepaid debit cards that are unusable in Periclean Greece or Han Dynasty China or in Tutankhamun Egypt or in Zuckerbergian America. Who is the controller? Never mind that time. It's not about that. For edification's sake, about is an autocratic preposition, overbearing and haughty, never about itself, and always it's a gunpoint targeting nouns, a Smith & Wesson 357 drilling into the temple of all things that want to be left alone. About strong arms its way through a heterogeneous rabble, clambers up to the floodlit stage and declares words must be about something. The word made a scab on a twitching wart, the word sexualized in a subconscious condom scum, the word that has to flash its new dangling modifiers in front of an unreceptive audience, preferably as their eyes are glued to a screen, the epoxy forever binding retinal pixels to really cool ad-free content. What this is about is the never-ending figure, the voluminous nothingness that chomps around my feet as they're dangling from the bed, exposed to its monstrous, toothless gum fondling. Figure is the lead actor showing up late to a rescheduled dress rehearsal, where I'm pretending that I'm the undifferentiated substance I'm pretending to write up and figure as if I were something else. What the fuck does that mean? Never mind that. What should be clear already, but to be explicit, figure is not a visitor from the future. The year is not important. The future is jerky movement and imploded causality stagger around like a drunk. Is an exciting period of time when time has no right to seize up, organize, or order a stepwise process, buy a new Gregorian calendar, or force historical figures to erotic escapades. The figure is figure, not historic perpetual.
Look at Jane Judith.
A figure with a capital F, watching years bounce around the geodesic amplifier. They are thrown at my jiggly head, but I dodge the balloon-like packages, transcendent soap bubbles filled with extinct birds aggressively swarming, lice-ridden soldiers starving in the Russian snow. As a personal computer of the Parthenon dials up a slow connection to a chubby Visigoth couple, pissing hot sauce and shrieking in a darkened LA underground garage. Figure gathers aeons with magnetic sorcery spellbinding me in a grade school experiment boiling over too soon. Teacher assigns a grade, F for failure and F for figure. If I had hundreds of thousands of years, I'd be rich too, collecting zeitgeists like they were teddy bears and hugging them, comforted and sleepy in a zeitgeist harem. Years on, years flip by on index cards, numbered, and I put them out of order so I could fall outside, gliding, unrented, pay per millennium, Icarus rings, weather-beaten and shabby, never getting more than 10 million feet off the swollen ground. People from the future are stupid. They must know what happened, but they don't. This is a meticulous explanation of what's happening, sliced down to a fractional nanosecond. In medias res, figure travels to a canister. 2 more figure empty me into a canister. I turn into others. I eat others as pure desire. Quite a stunt. Figure is momentarily mended with hands. Figure quickly shoots me in the back of the head. Figure gave me parents before I was born, but they were dead on arrival. Unpronounceable names and board certificates at a hospital. Hacking into others. Figure won't let me use test subjects to test subjectivity. Figure is momentarily mended with hands. Figure quickly shoots me in the back of the head. I'm only experimenting, researching motor functions and pain, coming up with inexplicable reactions. I managed to animate and reanimate. Figure assumes a realistic identity for once, but it's too late. Others sneak by hidden cameras upon advice I fabricated on how to find me. Others cannot find a room full of Figure because there was never a room. I conspired with others, telling Figure that I'm testing subjectivity. Figure is momentarily mended with hands. Figure quickly shoots me in the back of the head. I'm alive and deactivate. What again is Figure? Don't ask. Too complex. It's like a complex rife with pulsating vents, holding areas that are meant to hold area in parked lots. Get in me, shelter. Suit up. Figure seems to regard me as an unreal possibility, or at least an ignored banality, an unacknowledged substratum under others, a week-long pattern of hostile events by place, time, and person in an epidemiological study. Others and I do not have to exist, and non-existence results in a world. There's no way to make sense. I want out. Figure possessed. Figure then opens up and dispossesses, and the shapes taken by the opening, dispossessed by the opening shapes, crop further inward from the frizzed edges. That should answer the question from earlier, asking no one, what does it take to be internally motivated? I'm bereft of material possessions because there isn't material for possessions. Entertainment is little remembered. Power is in deficit, but power is not equivalent to a role in domination subservient pairing. There isn't pairing, it's no comfort either. I'm reading about the internally motivated. and
You're
how they
writing
found...
shit and uncreative. I fucking hate it. Kill yourself, you dumb nigger.
Oh, what?
Whoa,
There
hold
isn't
on. What's
pairing.
going on?
Oh, Williams fucking put his camera on to pipe up. Look at you. Oh my god.
Hey,
Oh my
buddy.
goodness.
Hey, buddy.
What
where are
the
you in this
fuck?
list?
Holy shit. No fucking
Hey,
way.
hey,
There
man.
isn't-
You gotta wait till the open mic period if you want to read, buddy.
Oh, sorry, I was just reading my favorite book of Mice and Men.
It's not open mic yet, dude.
Fair enough.
Yikes.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm very sorry about that,
No
TW.
problem.
Talking,
Uh,
William, you
we can-
fucking prick. Shut the fuck up.
Wait, we've got another
Which one is that?
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Go
Me?
fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. All of you. All of
This
you.
is-
Kill yourselves.
We've got
All
some
of you.
deep poetry
Yeah.
now.
Please end yourselves. All of you.
There isn't
Fucking
Hey, how you
pairing.
hell.
thought about it,
Comfort
buddy?
It's good to have
either.
some free time.
I'm reading about the internally motivated, how they found reward and experience of flow and assignments, relationships, sustenance, withdrawn and dissociative episodes, self-directed threats and manipulation, immersion and denial, vitality where loneliness is nothing but a zone of energetic hypomania. To be internally motivated, there must be motivation, such as panic and spite. To be internally motivated, there should be a defined institution and matching bureaucratic metadata, all condensed in zip file of subjectivity. Internal motivation is throwing up a stomach, the combustible lining laced with sparks and gasoline. That sounds wrong. Sounding wrong is more than ethical. It's the very premise of mechanics and locomotion, the internal drivers. The script running internal motivation is predicated on internal space, separation in space, like
Once upon a
comma
time,
and a new
lovely
clause.
princess,
To be
but
internally
she had an
motivated,
enhancement
I
upon
need
her
to be
of a
inside,
fatal
but
sort which
inside
could
to
only
another
be broken
inside.
by love.
Figure is momentarily mended with cylinders and six-figured handguns. So tired of this shit. Figure quickly turns to shoot me in the back of the head. Multiple heads, front to back. Bullets take turns. Easier to penetrate and come back later. Penetrating deeper next time. Going a little further if we're stepping aside for a turn.
Actually,
Something similar goes on for longer. With the current regimes and archives remember.
She was looking.
Feedback speeds up. Scrolling a little more, it says, so tired of this shit. What a coincidence. What the fuck is happening?
I'm really sorry, man. We're getting, since we posted the link publicly on Twitter, this happens sometimes. People will like troll through they'll search.
Why
for
are they all
links,
British?
And then they'll
Exactly. It's
That's a good question. I was wondering that myself.
I love that though.
You getting inundated with trolls right now?
We've had a few of them come through.
Oh yeah, Anthony was getting those, and he just stopped letting people in. But
Yeah, I'll watch the participants a little bit more.
no, yeah, you should. Yeah, I like your style better. Just let people in and then kick them out or
Tell
roast
them to
them.
fuck off, right?
I love the fact they're all British. It's like, well,
State your purpose.
Everybody loves All Star, you know.
Put the Brits
Oh,
back
yeah.
in the waiting room.
But TW, I'm very sorry.
Oh,
about
no
the
problems.
Worst thing, though,
It's great.
is I had.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's like
I don't mind. I can read over them. I don't give a shit.
Okay.
I mean, it
just-
ruined the moment at the time, but like,
right. Well,
no, but
Despite
I
it though,
like-
the energy's fantastic.
right, yeah,
The
it's kind of
reader.
psychedelic.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
whoever
Yeah,
was
reading is
covering,
amazing.
Yeah.
like Smash Mouth over it. I mean, that enhanced your reading, honestly.
It's like
The
having a
Zoom could
musical
be
accompaniment.
enhanced even more, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a reading. Is that link available, by the way?
Yeah, I put for
Cool.
TW's piece. I put
Oh,
it
yeah,
up
I
on
did
Twitter
retweet it.
and in the chat somewhere. It might be
Cool.
buried, but anyway, I'm very sorry, TW. If you want to pick up where you left off.
Yeah. I look forward to more interruptions, actually. Bullets run down interthylic sperm, counting them. 357 million. Their ballistic motility is 357 feet per second. Sopping, white like enamel. The vinyl gains muscle, pure wet weight. Sperm runs down the back of my head like bullets, counting them. 357 million. Their ballistic motility is 357 feet per second, released in batches, nervously secreting a 357 Magnum. Ricochets are commonplace and ducks. Nothing to worry about at this stage, but the nurse keeps checking. The ejaculation is unstoppable, penetrating car holes. The six-cylinder vesicle fires on carloads of husk bodies, filling the body husks. Their cervical buckets by the carload, thereby disabling organic holes. Epithelial tissues are critically wounded. Pink collagen bundles try to cushion fluid sacs, disabling critical people, lab-grown biomaterials who can't help but ooze around in buckets, fructose-rich and bored. I want to burst. Bullets aren't competitive, but some are better at mobility than others, leaving no trace or tracks as they navigate the fallopian void. Reloading loads, carloads of husk, jagged bodies inserted one at a time in dilated cylinders. Pink collagen yields the slightest touch. Slit-ready erections, metal jacketed slid in one at a time. Think of a gelatin salad, spermatozoan metal suspended in the middle. The prostrate is malfunctioning, earlier reports stated, but later it turned out the thing was destroyed, presumably because there was a hollow case. The shooting had to be reshot. The colorized film was unauthentic, greenish, and alien. The film had been planted. The white color is due to kinetic bulbourethrial gland releasing lipids in a burning hot cartridge of acid phosphatase. Shockwaves cause epithelial destruction in excess of what is caused by the direct hit. Erection declines normally once a mass shooting concludes. The open circular discharging end. It's boxed mucus, but ersatz, probably defective and less yellow than the top shelf brand. The muzzle P slit was clogged. Couldn't shoot again. The muzzle pulsates and sperm backtrack, seeking primeval origins. Primeval organs, compulsively picking at the brass crust because I didn't grow over and form the correct interpretation. The healing was left incomplete. A wait and see approach. My job is to farm imitation blood. Farming imitation blood in the darkest hour. The neighboring farm had rows of clomiphene citrate, gin, and wartime fervor. Take one from the team, though later cajoles an empty room during the broadcast. Population decline is a serious treat or a large-scale suicide threat, depending on my drug of choice. Ensconced in an armchair critiquing, valorizing the decline of Western civilization, a sperm daub that makes its way down the inner thigh and pulls onto the seat of the black vinyl. Don't end your life with a preposition. A billboard 20 miles long spells out this injunction of words made up of my family, thousands of long-lost fathers and cousins 50 times removed, all of them smiling knowingly, like they've been waiting for me. Nothing stops them from simultaneously turning to look down towards me, except the glue that holds them to the sign pulls their skin stringy like melty cheese, stretches effortlessly. Some sloughs off. I have a handful. I ate most of my arm before the rotted beam snapped and the whole structure fell on me. Multiple heads over time should just be one head at a time. If time is thoughtful, if time is assembled correctly, and the tooling dry. Time is not on my side, however. Figure quickly shoots me in the back of the head. Multiple heads. Fuck time, fuck anti-time, the antidepressant deep time, a romanticized dream time, and an omnidirectional time scraping out rhizome nerve endings. Fuck genetic time, the replicating specimens, the uncanny valley zones, the artificial intelligence infiltrating threads of the fabric of time, warp time, anesthetic, killing clock time. Fuck rusted to death, nanotech apparatuses building miniature engineered colonies in time, functional and transact SQL, and deterministic as a shell-shock cybernetic basket case abstinent and not fucking non-deterministic time, the endless fatalist, non-orgasmic fabulous, the phenomenological fascist, aspirating vomit, drowning in myths where time is contagious and cyclical, protozoic and predatory, fuck cliched historical time, the time that accrues, interest and enriches, mummified billionaires dead, and fucking money, the incestuous progeny, perpetuating money, fuck the dull-edged, paisley patterned fractals halting and medium strength dose of drug time because it's taking too much time to wear off. People from the future are stupid. They must know what happened. Look around, people. I'm the wasted future, a continent-sized fossil effigy of everything compacted together, circling a gaping wound to the ground and giggling while going down the drain of immateriality. The future unrolled, the prophecies backfired, didn't come true, so I'm the lone figure standing here reconstructing a total disaster for posterity's sake because time's a dumb shit tourist that forgot its camera. Take a picture, asshole. It will last longer, sure, but unlike time, I will never end. The end.
Wow,
Oh
fantastic.
man.
That was
Outstanding.
amazing.
Yeah.
Do you have
Next level
a
stuff.
quick question?
Pyrotechnics. It's
Do you have a what's the word? A face mask with the cobra symbol on it?
Me?
Yes, you.
On the pictures? No.
No, the reason I'm asking is because there was a guy who had a similar type of story on this one live stream I saw by 1111 Press, and he had a similar way of like talking, and it was also really good, and he had similar like it was just like it was really good, just like yours. Like so he leaned more into like because he had the mask leaned into like a Cobra Commander type voice, and it was really funny. And you reminded me of it, like, so I just kind of like wondered.
Yeah, that performance was definitely that was something.
It was amazing.
a lot of lines that got like stuck in my head, but I forgot them. I kind of want to read it after.
Thanks, Bibles. Yeah, I remember now. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna be too mixed up and all that. Thanks, Bibles.
Oh yeah, Sean Kilpatrick. Hopefully he'll read here at some point. I'd love to have him read. We just published a couple of poems by him a couple of weeks ago, I think.
Oh wow, I didn't even notice. I feel bad about that.
If anyone wants my spot, we can rock, paper, scissors for.
Yeah, but TW, that was like wall to wall, as Manny was saying, just amazing fucking like lines and just burrow into your.
Yeah.
Thanks.
The absurdity element was incredible.
Definitely.
Just amazing.
Thank you.
So,
especially when you add in the Masters of the Universe golf ball figurine as the visual.
Yes.
just masterful combination.
Yes. Agreed.
So, Michael Mcsweeney is up next. Are you here, Michael? I see you in the chat.
I am here.
Awesome. So I just a second. I have the link here to what you're going to be reading. It's from. Let me see. It's multiple poems, right?
Yeah, I've got a few poems. 2 of the 3 are on my personal Substack.
Awesome.
But I'm going to start with a poem I wrote a few years ago for a friend of mine whose really awesome cats passed away at the time. My family recently had to put down their 19-year-old cat, which is like a crazy age for a cat. So I'm bringing this poem back out because some of the feelings in that one are hitting pretty close to home.
Sure. Take
So
it away.
it's called Two Cats Passed Today. The edge of the bed is colder now. You and I place our palms on the spot where two cats once gathered to greet and love the hands of friends who will never feel the same again. All we can do now is caress the soft down blanket where they slept a lifetime of nights and wonder about the last reflections shimmering behind their eyes. We can never know how they felt as the light deepened in a gathering mist of gravity, when the soft touch known for years gave way to a plastic glove, a long syringe drifting below their fur. No, we can't dwell on these images of the two loved cats that passed today, thoughts of the last breaths bleeding out from their rapid heart chests. Instead, we should remember their vibrations of joy, the brush of soft fur against welcome fingertips that knew the ears and temples and necks and souls of two cats that never questioned why they or we were what we were. They spent their lives touching ours and making music with their bones. And though we've laid them to sleep curled up in boxes beneath the soil, and tears hang like loose strings from our eyes, we have to do our best to keep moving, as they did, through the still living room on a warm Cape Cod morning, no more aware than they of why our hearts are beating. So that's the first one. And then I was going to read two poems that I wrote during the really crazy pandemic plague city period in New York. One was like really at the beginning when shit was getting crazy. And then the second one, which is a bit longer, was as things were kind of calming down, like mid to late May. So the first one, which I wrote in March, is called The Sirens. I hear the sirens again. They wail outside the open window past the rain-doused streets and darkened Brooklyn houses. The sirens shriek and shout into the ears of everyone told to trap themselves at home. Each siren tells a story that I will never know. Maybe one of a living, breathing person desperate for the oxygen of connection, desperate for help, desperate to know what it means to reach out and touch someone in an age of isolation. The sirens shout their way up and down wet and empty streets, telling everyone and no one to get out of the way. 12 hours earlier, fearful and masked, I went to the bakery across the street. When I entered, a woman with a scarf over her face wielded a loaf of bread like a mace in her rubber-bound hands and demanded to know why one of the bakers had taken off their gloves. Take this one, and this one. They're all contaminated. You're all contaminated. Every one of you. She hurled fresh baked loaves like spears and then stormed out. The rest of us watched silently until we noticed how close we had unconsciously gathered, and so we broke apart like sand in the wind. When I got home, I slowly scrubbed my hands in scalding water and wondered if she was right. So I got one more. It's called Plague City Symphony. Part 1, Allegro. I need a cure for this 2020, so I hit the quarantine streets with a loose face mask, a fistful of bitcoins, a suppressed cough, a rejected novel, a bag of Skittles, and an alibi for why I'm not cowering at home and praying for this year to end. The first stop is a monster selling monster by the gallon on the corner, paid with quarters rolled from 6 feet away. Not under, not yet. Extra cans on me, they say. Tonight I'm cashing in all my bodega credit. Every Lucy is a torch in the endless cave, and I'm just trying to get across the street. I'm nearly run down by a frantic ambulance that's been dashing all damn day. Its empty gas tank is a heart about to implode, and soon the driver will go home too anxious to kiss their partner or hug their child, who slowly learns about the world through thumb-printed screens. A siren silenced until morning is a woman reaching out on the corner of 9th and 4th, asking why God and not the hospital took her husband, why he had to die groping in the dark for a hand that waited sleepless one room over on doctor's orders. Oh, she says to me, there's a plan that I don't see. I leave what coins I can in an unasked palm that closes. It's a moment when distancing must be ignored. And then it's on down beneath the world to the viral hotspot hurtling northbound and dragging 12 empty coffins behind it. Not even the essentials or homeless ride tonight. But me, cure hunter, quarantine breaker, just waiting for a heart attack shaker. I'm here for the dropped iPhone, the missing Pokemon, the thing we scream about when we scream about love. It scorches the lungs out of me knowing that at the end of the line, I'm told to get out, to get back on the platform. I'm sorry, but we'll have to pass. It's a very subjective subway. But remember, another turnstile may feel completely different about your fare. And that's just the damn thing of it. The title symbolic, but the outcome symphonic. Making love to strings in an empty subway car, change jar knocked over by careless feet, the day's meal rolling away as the train lurches out of sight. Part 2, Adagio. There's a place where the river hits the bay and the water shudders in the moonlight just that way. Like it's meant to be that way, just for you. The oil slick symbolism of it. Like an open mic poem by a total stranger who just nails it, just howls it like you never could. Like they know how to carve new verbs out of a 1,000-year-old language like it's nothing to them. Like they were born to remind you of your infancy. Oh, to not have to wait all night for the words to find you by the shore after calling for hours, begging just to know the shape of their name. To feel them hold you under the waves and drown you, if that's what it takes to experience it, just this once. Ah, but for all the world's curses, its cracked daggers and its plagues, sometimes the words do come to you. They reach out. They call your name. They promise you a cure. They pull you from the surging river and put dry clothes on your back and whisper in pulses through the chambers of your water-choked heart. Follow me. Part 3, Scherzo. The brick tunnel's end is a half-open rusty door. The password vaccine hissed through a filter before I'm pushed down slick steps into the throbbing of an unlicensed rave. A symphony of 1,000 like there's no insurance. A bailout of the city's last souls. Stimulus. At the entrance, they sell cups of poisonous relief served in classic red plastic. They reject my offered coins and toss me into the writhing mass. A dance of a dying planet, a deep bass atmosphere choked by noxious vapors and smoke between kaleidoscopic walls. Aren't you people worried about getting sick? I ask, every part of me touch. They reply with syncopation. Fuck it. It was already the end of the world before this shit started. And then everything goes chromatic and the music rips me apart. Its endless barrage of flechettes instead of notes. My last thought is that Auden was half right. We must love one another, but we're still gonna die. Part 4, Sonata. I need a cure for this 2020, so I go to the hospital and ask for a bed and a saline drip. Sorry, you're out of network, they tell me. Outside, I share smoke with a terminal patient who wheels out to the concrete entrance to take in the sunlight, but only at dawn. It's a habit of beginnings, they tell me. I miss them, my family, they say. And I think of an Easter uncelebrated, loved ones 200 miles north, a secret disease that might mean I don't get to say goodbye. I give the patient the last of my pack and hit the empty road. 5 blocks to home, there's a sedan flashing its lights in the middle of an intersection and trying to seek safety against the uneven, cracked pavement hill. I tuck my mask on and call out, hold on! There's a mother and father with their bodies up against the rust-chewed bumper like they're trying to keep the world from rolling back over them. A baby wails like a busted siren in the back seat. The mother turns and without speaking makes a space, and the 3 of us push with everything we have or ever will. Looking through the rear windshield, I can see their daughter with her hands on the steering wheel. We climb north until at last a space reveals its truth to us, and the dead car comes to a halt. We tear our masks away and gasp greedily for air, every breath a gift in the cool and still Brooklyn morning. Then we remember ourselves and cover our faces. But we don't break apart, not this time. A passing taxi gives the family a jump and we take off up 4th Avenue. They leave me at my stoop, thanking them and listening to bright green parrots as they serenade for mates beyond Greenwood spires. My sleepless body aches like it needs to molt, so I check my pockets. I spent the last Bitcoin on an egg, bacon, and cheese, and I forgot the Skittles on some far-flung subway bench. The cough still lives within me, and the novel is still rejected. Have I lost the alibi? I dig out receipts, napkin scraps that bear the 2nd and 3rd stanzas from poems misplaced along the way. I know there's an ending here, a symbol, something about human connection, right? I look up at the clear blue sky, a sky that still holds a few fading stars. I wait and watch them blink out one by one as the city's living music crescendos and its soul reaches for resolution. And that's it. Thank you.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Your delivery was really fucking incredible.
Thank you.
And I think it's really challenging to try to write about a moment while you're living in that moment, you know, but you fucking nailed it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Definitely.
I've tried to go back and like write more about it, and it's, I don't know, it's been difficult to do that. There was like a couple of
Flash
weeks,
in the pan.
couple of months in there where it really just clicked. And I don't know, anybody else who's in New York right now can probably agree that that was a singularly fucked up time to be around, and
Yeah.
you know, to not be able to leave when so many people were leaving the city, and it's just, you know, really crazy. But yeah, thank you so much for listening and for organizing this.
Hard
Thanks
bars,
for
man.
reading.
Very nice.
Yeah, thank you. Did anyone else have anything they want to say to Michael? If not, Eris is up next.
Real fast, Michael. Loved the whole music terminology thing with the, like how you incorporated that into the story or poetry. Loved that.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
No problem.
Yeah, I was here right when the quarantine hit myself. But I got out. I had to go.
Hello.
Hey.
I need my link though because I don't have it on me. Do you have it?
So you need the link to the piece you're going to read?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, I'm just about to put it in the chat. Anyway, just 1 second. I have to.
Right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to rush you.
Oh no! I'm just in the process of putting it in there. I was actually just copying the link. So Eris is up next, and I think the piece you're going to be reading is called "Fake Hand," right?
I'm sorry. What?
The piece you're going to be reading is called "Fake Hand."
Yes, and it's my
linked
dad
it in
has
chat.
read it, and his name is James, and I did not think about that before sending it to him.
Well, take it away.
All right. Oh, okay. They've just fucked twice, and Pete is smiling, sex stupid and sleepy, face buried in a mess of blankets and pillows and sheets, and Jim is running his fingers through his hair, and it's been a while longer than he thought since it's like smudgy. Okay. Blonde is handled wrong one, looks like, because there's over a solid inch of burnt rib to work with. Jim says, since he's been meaning to for a few weeks or so anyway, we should get a place together. Pete turns his head to bite at Jim's wrist, whole mouth coming open, teeth clamping down hard like a dog or a wolf or a coyote or some shit. It's typical Peter Pan. Jim ignores it. By the way, if I talk too fast, will you guys tell me to slow the fuck down, please? Thank you. Big place, nice natural light, like windows, wood floors, whatever you want. You can pick. The teeth sink in deeper. Jim was not aware that deeper was possible. You can paint the walls. His wrist hurts like a motherfucker. All of them? Pete asked, sounding curious, but also sounding kind of fucked out. They went again after the second time, which, wow, Jim is not fucking telling the doctor about that. There's horny, which makes sense all of the time, except for the time when your hand is perilously half connected to the rest of your body, and there is no way to say I was pretty much forced into fucking this guy because he had my hand held hostage. Do you know how much pain I am right now? Because I am in pain without the cops being called. Jim is not very happy with Pete right now, but he is always very opposed to the cops being called. After the third round, oh God, don't read behind me. Okay. After the third round, Pete napped and then got out of bed for a shower, then Googled some stuff, and then called a few people who he said were not actual doctors, but were for sure at least pre-med. And then they had both silently sat around the apartment for a half an hour, trying to understand how neither of them had a doctor on their payroll. And then suddenly Pete had demanded, "Did you know that humans can bite with 120 pounds of pressure?" James Newlick fact, that is how much he weighed in one of his books. Okay. To which Jim had snarked, "Peter, you don't even weigh 120 pounds. And also, hyenas can bite harder than, like, everyone. They can bite harder than sharks." And then Oh shit though, crocodiles do not fuck around. And then, finally, warily glancing at Jim over the top of his douchebag designer sunglasses. Indoors at 3 in the morning, what the actual fuck? This article says that human bites can pass over infections, and I don't know, I don't feel infectious, but I guess we should take you to USC. So whatever, they're waiting to see someone at the ER at USC because they've been saving USC for their real names for the past like 8 years on account of the one semester Pete attended on full scholarship when he was 17. Did I hear someone, or was that from outside?
You're good.
Okay. Pete has 2 cell phones out, texting like a lunatic. If penis envy is anything like hand envy, Jim can now understand everything he's ever read on Freud a hell of a lot more. Which reminds me of Thomas More's Alone book. Okay. Pete is texting with both hands on 2 phones and also occasionally sipping at a dirty chai latte, and Jim can actually not even feel his right hand. Like if he could not see it, Jim would not know that it existed. If Jim were not left-handed, he would be fucking furious right now. Instead, he's just mildly uncomfortable nursing a vanilla bean frappuccino from Starbucks because they have drive-through windows for a reason, James, and that reason is called right now. All of what? Jim demands furiously just as someone calls out, James Hook, the doctor calls out. Jim stands and takes a few steps, but Pete eyes the guy warily, not rushing to get up or anything, just looking like maybe he's about to ask if they get a girl instead. The guy is like half Pete's size though, so probably unless he is like super skilled at Krav Maga. Jim could take him one-handed if he had to. Well, whatever. If there's a fight, he really only has the one hand. Fucking Peter Pan. That's gonna be on his death certificate. Cause of death. Fucking Peter Pan. Is fucking a verb here? Pete's like, still sitting. Jim hadn't realized he'd said that aloud. No, yeah, he totally did. Still sitting, totally casual. Jim can't feel his hand. The frappuccino green mushy icy mess less than an inch from Pete's boots. The look on his face says, I do realize that that is there, but I hope you realize that cleaning it up is not my job. People are definitely looking at him like he should be cleaning it, or at least finding someone else to do it. Don't they get that this is standard operating procedure for Pete? Pete doesn't even do laundry. He literally just buys new clothes. Or asks for, like, people to send him shirts. All what? Oh, the walls. I can pick all of them, right? If Jim is about to get fucking amputated because Peter Pan wanted to paint all the walls of his apartment black like some stupid emo goth fag or some shit. I can say that, by the way, I'm gay. Jim is actually going to fuck his shit up. Like, no joke. Jim might actually kill Pete over this. He doesn't know. It probably depends on it if he has to do it one-handed. We're just gonna lay you down, honey, a nurse is saying when Jim passes out. Well, it was smart of your boyfriend to get you in here so fast, the doctor informs him cheerfully when Jim wakes up. Jim thinks that somewhere in the greater LA area, probably outside of a coffee bean and tea leaf, or more likely an Earth, or possibly an intelligentsia, Pete is cackling like a wild thing. Was it? You could have lost the whole arm, son. What? I said, no, okay, fuck you. I heard what you fucking said, and I want you to know right now before you go any further that you have the shittest bedside manner ever. Jim has actually been fucking amputated because Peter Pan wanted to paint all the walls red. Red. Jim now has choices. His choices are A, freak with no hand, B, prosthetic, C, weird metal thing. Pete seems to be voting for weird metal thing. He keeps exclaiming, totally out of nowhere, like, you could be James Hook! With an actual hook, though, Jim. An actual hook. You shouldn't laugh, because this is like your thumb.
I know.
Okay. Jim thinks maybe Pete is experiencing guilt for the first time, and it's freaking him out or something. He uses his good/only hand to pat Pete on the shoulder consolingly. And yes, if you do have them thumb splint recommendations, please send them our way. He makes it through 4 whole days of hospital food and an ugly stuffed alligator named Jamie from the fucking Build-A-Bear at Westside Pavilion. They didn't have hyenas or crocodiles. They had a stingray, but only one. And this girl looked like she really wanted it. And you fucking know I wouldn't usually let that stop me, but I don't know. I thought her dad was gonna like punch me in the face, and I hadn't even gotten an Earl Grey latte yet, so I just wasn't feeling it. Yeah, I named him Jamie for you. And a super contraband blueberry pie from Dupar's and telenovelas that Pete helpfully translates for him. Because, like, apparently, of the two of them, Jim is somehow now the one who actually does not speak fluent fucking Portuguese. The fuck even. Jim is a veritable master of Romance languages. Before whatever guilt Pete might be going through seems to dissipate, because when visiting hours end on day 4, he snarls, "I am not coming here again, unless it is to pick you up because you are being discharged. Just so you know," as he walks out. Jim sighs and waits 10 minutes to be sure that Pete isn't lurking before he calls for the nurse, for the doctor, for the nurse. That takes like 3 hours because it's a teaching hospital. And they have more than enough patients to tend to, and Jim hasn't been throwing money around or anything, so they think he's not a priority. This is a mistake. Jim is a fucking priority. God. He is so getting his doctor on call after all this shit is over. It takes like 3 hours before Jim says, "Just get me a fucking fake hand already." Okay.
That was
Oh
awesome.
man, that was great.
That was good.
That was really
Particularly the
good.
end.
I love the
Thank you.
voice
I didn't
acting,
see my
or
voice at all.
acting, quote unquote, really good. Like the way you spoke was like just, it really felt like you were speaking through
The
the
Valley
character.
Girl? It's 'cause I am.
No,
But
the
thank you. That means
dialogue
so much.
was
Especially
fantastic too. It like
It
very
was, yeah.
naturalistic. You know, it
Yeah, yeah.
really
crazy because you
felt
guys know I never talk to
conversational.
people.
I was not prepared for the Jim Hook line.
Yeah.
Oh, and there was enough foreshadowing that I should have been, but it caught me by surprise, and I'm still just smiling because of it.
Oh, I wrote like some fucked up fairy tales, and like there's I really like the other one on Expat that I have, the Red Riding Hood one, like, and there's also a longer Peter Pan one on Tragical.
Cool.
Did you do like a Greek gods one too, or am I making?
Yeah, like Persephone's like, "Oh my god, I'm fine."
Yeah, they're like in an IRC chat room or something.
I read that.
Yeah.
That was good.
Oh yeah, I read that one. That one was awesome.
That one honestly is like 10 years old. Don't tell Manuel that. Hi, Manuel.
Hey, yeah, I've said a lot of good things about Lizzie. Yeah, you're a Terminator. Yeah, she has lots of writing.
Oh god,
I
yeah.
can't wait for all of you to read it.
Terminator.
Sorry. So Alexandrine is up next. Are you still with us, Alexandrine?
Oh, sweet! I'm excited for this.
Here, I'm ready to go.
Cool. Just before you get started, you're the last one up as far as scheduled readers are concerned, and then we're going to go into the open mic. So if you're here and you want to participate in the open mic reading, just say something in the chat. Rudy's going to be monitoring the chat, and then after Alexandrine is done, Rudy will kind of read the names off to me so that we know who's going to be doing an open mic reading. Yeah, going to try to keep that to about an hour. As I said, if you don't get into the open mic period today, we're doing this again next week. Just shoot me a DM and you can be a scheduled reader. I'm sorry about that. Alexandrine, I believe you're reading a piece called Wound that was published in the Exposition Review, right?
That's correct.
Cool. Take it away.
All right. I'm not going to bother with any preamble because it's you'll get what's going on pretty quickly. So yeah, this one's called Wound. When I entered the bathroom, it became a holy space. During adolescence, despite no lock on the door, my parents tacitly provided me with a single hour of time to myself. Kids who are given time will make the best use of it they can, watch the clock, spend the exact amount of allotted time on their preferred activity. Some masturbate or style their hair, apply makeup. Others bathe until they are pink and raw. I chose to attack my leg with a kit of tools I kept in my room, hidden in a shoebox under the bed. The nail file, the toothpick, the needle-nose pliers I had spirited away from my father's toolbox. It began as grooming. I would pick the hairs out of my left thigh until it became smooth, feel the glide of my palm over unmarred skin, shiver with a pleasurable charge at the sensation. The growth of my body hair, long and coarse, was by far the most upsetting discovery that puberty forced upon me. It was dark, curly hair, not white hair, immigrant, Nigerian hair. Hair that grew thick and lustrous from the scalp, demanded to be treated chemically, plied with heat and product, beat and trimmed into socially acceptable styles. But it grew in bent, sharp forms out of the body. It scratched and curved would not be ignored. After a couple sessions of plucking the hairs with tweezers one by one, a great relief washed over me at the smoothness of my thighs. Then, days later, I found to my horror that they had returned, thicker than before. Worse, they were ingrown, unpleasant, infected bumps under my brown skin, so I had to dig into my skin with the blunt tweezers, tear out roots, bleed. The divine smoothness then would not last. Ineffective, I graduated to nail clippers. In order to extract the hairs, I would have to break the skin. When the hair grew near the surface, this was a clean process. In time, they grew deeper. Now I had to draw blood each time I removed hair. The follicles would scab over, but the hair continued to grow, so I would breach the scab and dig ever lower until at last I could remove the offending strand. I was going too deep, tearing too much. I would bleed, and the hair would be so short that the tweezers would slip. I would have to either pull for minutes at a time or commit myself to ripping the meat out with the hair. It hurt. I liked the hurt. My father, in an ill-informed attempt to enforce heterosexuality, would show me music videos. Starting around when I was 14, we would sit together in silence and watch VH1, mostly R&B and a little hip-hop. Suggestive videos featuring scantily clad dancers and a firm narrative of male-female desire. He was, like most Nigerians, staunchly conservative. He believed in corporal punishment. His only concessions to middle-class American expectations were to apply force infrequently and to use an open hand in lieu of a switch. My father, as he sipped glasses of brandy, one after another, killing the bottle slowly with modest pours so my mother and I wouldn't notice, would postulate on the taxonomy of the faggot. Trigger warning, whatever. Never the homosexual, mind you, faggot. To him, it was a result of poor breeding and excess masculine libido while isolated from women. That's why priests fucked young boys, the pedophile being the cousin of the faggot. The faggot, and the lady faggot as well, represented perversion and rape, predators in gender-inappropriate clothing. They were the apotheosis of American decadence, and he was very proud that he wasn't raising one. It is difficult to pin down exactly what about homosexuality my father disapproved of. On some level, it was clear that he found the act of gay sex revolting, but it's unclear if he found the acts themselves or the actors more offensive. My father is a meticulous groomer who does not own a pair of blue jeans. One day, we saw a TLC video for a song called Hands Up. It prominently featured several male strippers. To me, there was little difference between them and the women twerking on screen a moment ago. I filed those men with no intention under the same category as the other dancers. There was a similar, albeit distinct, attraction to them. I had never seen a man in an explicitly sexualized manner, never had the idea that men could be an object of lust, but now I did, and that knowledge could not be lost. And what was worse was that I wanted to be like the women on screen so that men would want me. My leg ached from where I had cut into it that afternoon. I was not a woman, so this attraction would breach the narrative of male-female desire. Male-female desire my father was attempting to nurture. Fearing the application of his open palm, I wisely decided not to remark upon these desires, nor to act upon any similar ones until after I became an adult. Soon my life revolved around removing the hair and skin from the leg, cleansing the leg with burning antiseptic, hiding the leg, making excuses for the leg. In time, the original purpose of the ritual was subsumed into the doing of the thing itself. I had a whole system involving a nail file, rubbing alcohol, the clippers, and various other bits of metal. I didn't know why I would spend an hour or more removing the hairs from my leg, blood pooling on the surface to be staunched with alcohol and toilet paper. I only knew that I must do it. This is the nature of addiction. Whatever the substance was meant to alleviate is replaced utterly by the substance itself. Self-harm is strange among addictions, much like how gambling is strange in that it is an action taken and not a substance consumed. However, the mechanism of addiction is much the same. I would often question my own motives during this ritual. At first, I believed it was a simple wish to rid myself of the hairs on my leg, but then, why did I not shave? When I was about 12 and the leg was still intact, my mother called me into the living room. She held an old Polaroid camera. "Take off your clothes," she said. "I want you to see what you look like." I obeyed. I removed my polo shirt, as I was only allowed to wear collared shirts, and my khaki pants, as I was not allowed to wear jeans. The socks went too. I stood in the room in nothing but underwear. At that time, I wore white briefs bought in bulk from Walmart. The offending hairs had already begun to come through, stiff and uncomfortable upon my legs. "Stand still," she said. The camera flashed, and the motor whined and spat out a single floppy picture. It flashed again. The camera cheerfully produced another photo. Turn to the side. Flash. Photo. Now you're back. Flash. Photo. "Okay, you can put your clothes back on." We waited together at the kitchen table for the photos to develop. White giving way to faint, washed out browns and yellows, the black of my hair coming in first. It was early fall, but the chill came in faster that year. The linoleum chill came through my socks. "Okay," she said. The photos were arranged in front of me. She did not have to tell me what to look for. The brownness of my skin and darkness of my lustrous, unkempt hair was considered a boon. It was the shape of my body that offended. I was, to be blunt, disgusting. My flesh lacked the tightness expected of adolescent boys, and I was padded with fat. It fell in bulbous lumps where my pectoral muscles should have been, hung in rolls over the band of my underwear, bunched beneath the elastic of the leg holes. My proportions were strange, too much leg and not enough torso, and my posture was bad, hunched and crooked, accentuating the lumpiness of my frame. "Do you see?" she asked. "Yes," I said. "You are fat. I do not know what to do about it, but you should lose some weight." I saw something else that she did not. Upon viewing the shots, it was clear to me that I was not and never had been a boy at all. That night, alone and fresh out of the shower, I examined the hairs upon my left thigh. The largest one stood out, an offending stalk in a meadow of fuzz. I found tweezers in the cabinet, squeezed the hair by the root, grasped, pulled. As I dug ever deeper, the time for recovery grew longer, until at last my leg did not heal at all. I tore off larger pieces of skin, cutting with the nail clippers, then pulling them off with the tweezers. For the deepest hairs, I would dig with the pliers. The various smaller bumps, the open sores that used to be hair follicles, they began to converge. What was once a constellation became a galaxy, a vast swatch of broken skin ever bleeding. I cleansed the area with soap and doused it with alcohol. The pain-eliciting screams I released into hand towels gripped between my teeth. At first, I used large Band-Aids to cover it up, but they wouldn't stick. So I faked an ankle injury following an odious sporting event, then convinced my mother to purchase an elastic bandage. I fastened various pads out of gauze I stole from her medicine cabinet before finally resorting to ripping up my old t-shirts to staunch the leaks. Every day, I continued to remove the bandage and inspect the leg for new hairs. Wherever I found them, I attacked. The pain was now so constant that I did not notice the fresh hurt from each stab. More and more of my allotted hour was taken up by this, forcing me to spend less time showering than I would have liked. My parents and friends remarked unfavorably upon the smell. I found it distinctly masculine. He didn't like the way I ran, my father. It was clumsy and almost like skipping, unmistakably feminine. After a piss-poor performance at soccer practice, he drove me to a different park. He pulled a ball out of the trunk. "You run like a..." and then he stopped short. The word caught in his throat, so implausible was it to him that I was anything but a strong, virile young man. He couldn't see me growing my hair, the lasers, the pain of breast buds, dresses, tights, sensible heels. He couldn't see me. I dribbled the ball up and down the field, lungs burning, legs refusing to behave, the very image of unmasculine incompetence. Blood ran down my leg from the bandages, and a purple-edged blackening spread from under the edges across what should have been healthy flesh. Fatigue set in as I ran back and forth, egged on by his bellowing commands, wanting just to rest. At last, I collapsed on the grass. "Get up." He stood over me monolithic. But I couldn't. I was done, and it was over. The leg burned in more ways than one. "Get up, you lazy bum." I pulled myself to my knees. "Stop it, please." He buried the toe of his loafer in my gut. I bowled over with pain. "Get up, you wimp, you sissy." I dragged myself to my feet. He passed me the ball. As I moved to half-heartedly dribble, his own leg shot out, taking out my shin, bending my ankle the wrong way. Stop crying. Walk it off. You don't want them to think you're a faggot, right? Then don't act like one. When I got home, I bit down on a leather belt while sitting in the bathroom. Crying in hatred, I brought the nail file down into the most festering part of the wound over and over and over again. "What are you doing in there?" my mother called through the bathroom door. I had allowed my hour to elapse. In a panic, I rewrapped my leg with an old bandage. Somehow this caused a new searing pain I was not accustomed to, and I yelped. "Just a minute," I responded through chewed leather. The tools were lying on the counter, caked in blood. I ran the sink and began to scrub it off as best I could without any success. "I'm coming in," she said. "You spend too much time in there." No, I threw the half-clean tools into the box and began pulling the leg of my sweatpants over the sloppy bandage. The door opened and I made eye contact with my mother. Her face was a vision of fury, but then she looked at the open box on the counter and my poorly wrapped leg, and her face began to take on another, worse character. Without asking my consent, she moved forward and seized the bandage. I protested as loudly as I could, but she ignored me, pulling the wrap off with increasing speed. When she saw what was underneath, her mouth opened and let out a strangled noise I will never forget. The wound was no longer red and angry. It had begun to take on other colors, blue and black and rotten yellow. Dark blood and pus alike leaked out and ran gently down to my knee as lines of putrefaction channeled outward. It was less a wound and more a crater, exposing layers of dead meat down to something too pale and too hard. How it functioned, I did not know. I do not remember a smell, but it looked as if there was one. I began to cry. She admonished me, asking questions. What was it? How had this happened? Why did I mutilate myself like this? There was no way for me to explain. I had never heard of depression or anxiety or obsessive-compulsive disorder, and certainly not gender dysphoria. I wasn't even aware of the term self-harm, so I just repeated the only thing I could think of over and over. Don't tell Dad, please don't tell Dad. That's it.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jeez.
Alexandrian, your bio in the story is so sick and audacious. I don't know if anyone has read it for this kind of magazine.
Thank you. I was surprised they let me print it, considering it's a little more, I don't know, what, USC or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really good. Like it was definitely intense in a different way than some other things were, but definitely intense is a good word to describe it, I think.
The detail was incredible.
Yeah.
It was just enough to immerse you, but not too much that it never stopped feeling honest. It just felt like someone telling you a story, completely brought you into it. Thank you. It was really good.
Yeah, I think honest is definitely kind of the word I would use to describe it too.
Yeah.
I think there was a really profound level of psychological awareness there, which I think you don't always see in those kind of like self-reflective kind of coming of age, coming to understand yourself pieces. There is like a psychological complexity to it that really I think made it very, very powerful. So yeah, thanks for reading that.
Thank you. I appreciate all the kind words. Thanks, y'all.
Feral is one of my favorite words. Go ahead.
Wait, which one?
Feral.
Feral?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Do you want me to read the bio
Would
out
I
loud?
cut off?
Please.
Yeah, please
Definitely.
The bio says, Alexandrian J. Ogundimu is a Nigerian-American, suicidally depressed, transgender garbage fire from Indiana. She lives in Seattle and works for a housing nonprofit. She cares a lot about equality and diversity and using our own voices, but mostly is waiting for the day she can loot Tiffany's with a pack of feral drag queens. She received an MFA in fiction at NYU, where her drinking problem blossomed into a full-fledged alcohol and drug addiction, which is now in remission, thank God. Her fiction can be found in 521 Flapper House and Exposition Review. So.
Excellent.
That's brilliant.
Oh, I remember the word I was looking for. I use this word to describe Mika's a lot, and I think that this word also describes it in a different way, though. Visceral, I think, was a good word to describe it.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
was just going
definitely.
for gory, honestly.
You definitely delivered on that, and it takes a lot to make me flinch when it comes to anything written in gory terms, but you succeeded.
Awesome.
It's like not over the top though. Like it has like almost a light touch to it that makes it feel so real to me. I don't really know. It's like
Yeah, like
like-
you weren't trying to like disgust us, just trying to let us know like this is how it is.
yeah, exactly. It's real shit. I also thought that like I really liked the structure of it. Like just like it kind of has sort of a classic like narrative build up to me. And like as I heard in your bio you're from Indiana and I am too, and like the whole thing about being forced to play basketball is like, oh my god.
Oh yeah.
It's so real.
Ugh, shit was rough.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I think we'll move on to the open mic at this point. Everyone who read and volunteered to read, thank you so much. This was a total kind of wild shot in the dark for me. First time doing something like this, and I really appreciate you giving of your time and sharing your art with us like that. I really, really do. It was wonderful.
It was super
Yeah.
fun.
Incredible curation. Like I really liked every writer.
Thanks,
Yeah,
man. We
was very fortunate. So Rudy, the let's take a look at the who's kind of volunteered to read here for the open mic period. We'll probably, as I said, go for about an hour. I think this is about the 50th time I've said that. But who's up? Who's up, Rudy? Who's up first?
Right, so the list I have here, and I apologize if I got you guys out of order, but I think I got it right. Hestia is first, and then B-Boy. Damien said maybe, I think. And then Marcus Faith is up.
Cool. And if there are additional people who want to read, just you can put that in the chat. So Hestia was up first. Are you here, Hestia? Epic Gold
Yeah,
Cup.
yeah.
Oh, I think it's like bronze or something. I don't know what it is. I got it at Walmart for like $3.
Copper, that's a mule cup.
Oh. So Hestia, are you? I see you in the
Yeah,
chat.
can you hear me?
Oh yes, I can.
Cool.
So what were you planning to read?
I was thinking just one of my shorter pieces, this one, and then there was one that hasn't been published, but I just it's at the moment it's going to be in Religious Studies Mag. So
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, take it away. Oh, I think you're reading one of ours. I think that might be the first Misery Tourism piece read tonight at the Misery Tourism hosted event. Sure, yeah, take it away.
Poems, God's Loneliest Tranny. Born from the black sludge of the primordial soup, I crawl forth from my mother's cursed womb into a broken world. Raised in mediocrity and rape, I disconnect from it. Floating, drifting, and shifting, my disgusting abomination of a toxic life. Trapped in my hick town, trapped in the city, trapped. I want out, I want out, I want out. I have found my out in violence. Arming myself with the tools of war, I go on a schizophrenia rampage of death and destruction to see the womb of the world laid bare. Now all we have are left is the spectacle of shit, a world of toxic waste that we bathe our diseased minds in. The demons all around us and only the insane see them. Into the black abyss of depravity I go, like God's loneliest tranny I fall into the pit of hell. There I baptize myself in the blood of pornographers, politicians, and rapists. Blood, 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 blood. What happened to my dreams of salvation? What happened to it all? All I have now is the blood on my hands and the drugs in my heart. And then the other one is titled No Pain, No Pleasure. No pain, no pleasure, stagnation, mental death, in a coma we reside. Sons, daughters, mothers, fathers, trapped together without other. No escape, no path forward, we lie forever entombed in our tiny cosmic bubble. Forever subsumed and consumed. By that we will never understand. Hark, the angel sings, the trumpets to the end times echo out. The seals are broken and man's fate decided. and yet still we remain trapped forevermore. Forgotten, abandoned till we end ourselves, deluded and refuted, humanity exists no more. Also, sorry for reading that real fast. I'm anxious as fuck.
Oh no, that was fantastic, and I totally understand being anxious.
Yeah.
I have been having one micro anxiety attack after another all night. So I think everyone here to some degree is probably. I think some of the other people who read had said it was their first time kind of reading in the.
Is this your first time reading Hestia?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, reading fast is like the most like common thing that I think when you read. I still do it all the time. It's like, but that was incredible. Like, I really liked it. I felt it.
Yeah, I remember when you submitted that to us. I remember Rudy and I reading your first piece, the God's Loneliest Tranny piece. I remember Rudy and I reading that and being like, "Holy shit!" I think that might be literally what we said to each other was, "Holy shit!" Yeah, no, I love that piece.
Thank you for thinking my reading wasn't too bad and liking the pieces and everything. Very validating. Yeah, that's the word.
Sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I just really, it's wild having the opportunity to, publish so many really talented authors and poets, and it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. You meet so many people, and it's cool to see them read. I've seen since the pandemic started. I feel like a lot of my writers read. A lot of my favorite writers. I meant to say. I don't own any writers, but you know.
So, next up, Rudy, did you say?
Next up is
Brandon?
B-Boy.
Brandon, you're up next.
Yes, indeed. All right. This was one I actually haven't read personally in a while. It was written about 3 years ago. I think I mentioned this last time. Most of my writing is usually kind of cathartic stuff done after high kind of emotional periods. So I hope you guys like this. It's titled Alpha of Omegas. It's funny that when we both met, we claimed to be alphas. At the time, I believed it to be true, but your true colors have been shown. You're no alpha. An alpha doesn't call upon themselves a pack of weak-minded misfits. An alpha doesn't call upon themselves a following of those weaker than themselves to make themselves feel better about their own capabilities. That's precisely what you do, isn't it? I should have seen it for what it was, and in some primal part of myself, I think that I did recognize the truth, even if my conscious mind looked past it. All that you do is seek out followers to feed your own non-existent self-esteem and soothe an inferiority complex that drives you mad. I ignored it before because I saw those misbegotten souls as friends, and as people who had a lot to learn and deserved a chance. Now I see you've called together another pack even weaker than the last. How much has our struggle weakened your will? A true alpha draws around himself equals, diverse and knowledgeable, pack mates who can teach and enrich each other and make the pack stronger as a whole. A true alpha doesn't feed solely on the ego, knowing that he is in charge. He feeds on knowing that his pack can stand on their own. A true alpha craves being surrounded by his peers and seeks his balance. He needs to have those around him who can shore up his own weaknesses with their strengths and return the favor in kind. Why settle for the cast-offs when you can gather a council of greatness? Maybe that's the problem. Some have the audacity to claim to be an alpha, knowing only what they've seen of wolves in captivity, never realizing that what comes about in confinement is nothing like what comes in the wild. See, wolves in captivity aren't a family. They establish a pecking order with a dominant alpha and weaker betas and omegas that trail behind. They aren't a pack, they're a prison colony. No wonder then that so many humans think that they can ape that behavior, comes so naturally after all. It's what so many do when they walk out into the world. But a true alpha doesn't seek subordinates. A true alpha walks behind his pack, ready to defend them. He waits and watches, letting the strong amongst his family protect the slower and weaker for the greater good of the whole, and he readily puts down any threats he must. He seeks to enrich those he protects, to help them better themselves. He refuses to leave his packmates behind unless their own actions force it upon him. He thirsts for those strong enough to test his own might and remind him of his limitations. He yearns for those intelligent enough to make him question his own knowledge and seek a deeper understanding. He desires those who present an impressive appearance and drive him to improve his own. A true alpha needs those things to continue to evolve and adapt and to become a better leader amongst his family. And really, isn't that why you've been left behind? Isn't that why you've never been asked to return to the gathering of alphas? Your true nature has been revealed. A vain, petty, selfish poser. So insecure in your own appearance that you surround yourself with those who can never threaten you. So insecure in your own intelligence that you seek out the company of those who can never challenge you. So insecure in your own strength that you crave the weak-willed and frail who make you feel better about your own shortcomings. You're no alpha. You never were.
Awesome.
That's that.
Before I head out, definitely enjoyed the piece.
Yeah, Chris, thank you for reading.
That
Thank you
show was
for
about
having me.
wolves. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, and maybe we'll see you again at some future reading, huh?
Yeah, definitely. Like if you ever need anybody to read, I have. I would love to read Knife.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
Awesome.
sick.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
Sweet.
Definitely. All right.
Okay. See you guys later.
Yeah,
See ya.
Bye.
Nice meeting you.
Same
Yeah,
here.
nice meeting you.
Bye.
I think somebody said they had a poem, maybe? Was that
I believe Damien said maybe.
Is Damien up next?
Yep.
Damien, you still with us?
Yeah, I'm just always worried
Nice.
because I don't want to offend anyone.
This is
Nice.
the Misery Loves Company reading series.
I don't think anyone here is capable of being offended.
This is if people are capable of being offended, they probably, I don't know, they're reading the wrong publication, I guess.
Yeah.
No, you
I
should
thought-
definitely take it
I
away.
thought this was the Orthodox Zoom server. Oh shit! No, okay. Yeah, I guess I could read something. I could like pull a random part of my novel, maybe,
Yes. Sounds
and
good.
like and just like roll with it and see if you
That'd be
guys like,
sick. That's the next book we're putting out.
Yeah,
I'm
so-
like completely immersed in it now. It's a heavy book. I can't
Oh,
wait
you want
to
to-
unleash it.
Eris wants me to read the. Oh,
It's the most important book of the year, really.
What is the book called?
Fucked up.
Fucked up. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. I've seen the.
Eris really wants me to read the lesbian pussy licking thing from Dreamcore.
Hey,
Maybe if I have time, I'll think about it, and maybe next time. Yeah. Okay. I think this is a cool part. Let's see here. Oh, my mouth is so dry. This pale gothic chick is sitting on the bathroom tiles next to the toilet with a makeup kit in her lap. She looks at me as I take my dick out and piss all over the toilet seat. Hey, she says. I look back down at her, zip up my pants and respond. Hey. She softly taps my right leg with a fist and smiles at me. You have a nice cock, she says. I like your costume. Don't know what it is, but it's clever and shit. Thanks. You're like the second person to comment on it. There's like this kid who I bought some shit from. You can have some if you want. I'm guessing you're dressed up as Scully from X-Files. I was looking at myself in the mirror this afternoon after I had taken my medication, thought that I would look pretty nice as Finn the Human, so I just went with that. It takes me a minute to notice the cuts on her body, and another minute to realize how deep and rooted they are. She's wearing this black tank top, torn up white shorts, no bra, and broken black heels. I've seen her kind in the mental hospitals, but they were always the most avoidant of other patients. On second thought, I'm not sure I've ever seen cuts like this on a person. They're scattered across her her legs, arms, fingers, nose, chin, and probably under her shirt as well. I look at my own arms and remember all the previous times in my life that I've harmed myself. She looks like she had taken a hacksaw and cut down to the bone of her fucking leg. The scars are easily the most disturbing that I've come across. As I'm flushing my piss, I begin to wonder how the fuck she's even alive. The suicidal chick blinks at me seductively and asks if I want to rape her. That doesn't really shock me as much as it should. Like I said, I've seen and heard it all before in the mental hospitals. I lay down across from her and try to analyze in my mind what could have happened in her life to lead to this. Of course, I'm also curious if she cuts her pussy as well. I smirk. Nah, I just wanted to talk to you. Well, I would like to have sex with you, but that's only if you wanted it. I would never rape someone. That's probably hard to believe when you consider almost every male is a rapist and a decent number of women are as well. Anyway, would you say why would you say some shit like that to me? Why do you wear your scar so proudly? Are you begging for attention? Yeah, you're right. You got me. I'm always feeling sorry for myself. That's what you mean, right? I'm the most selfish little slut. Dung, druggy whore. I post pictures of my cuts every day onto my Tumblr blog, and all these people are always asking me, why do I do it? And shit, and some of these people even try to give me my life advice. I tell those people to just fuck off. I'm a pretty bad person, but who isn't? Shit. That was pretty cheesy, but I'm pretty high. Yeah, who cares? Well, I do. You can talk to me, and I won't judge you. Okay. You can fuck me if you want, but only because you seem like a nice guy. Where do you want me and how do you want me? I sort of just want to get it over with, but I'll do my best. Wait, let me think it over. How about you stay on top of the sink? Do you want to talk about what's going on before we fuck or after? After or not at all. Just tell me where to fucking go already. So I point to it, the sink, where I want her. She lazily turns her head to where I'm pointing, lifts her fat ass up, and accidentally pushes me into the bathtub while she attempts to get up on top of the counter. Her thighs are fat, but it's not like she's unbearably obese or anything. I pull down her white cut-off shorts and see that she's not wearing any underwear. Her pussy is like a forest of thick brown pubes that curl and probably have lice and bugs swarming in and out of her mess. I slap a hand across my face, realize I'm almost on the verge of crying, and tell her, look, I'm sort of a mess today, and I don't even know if I can put my best effort into fucking you, so I'm going to apologize as well. There's this issue I have sometimes where I end up getting really depressed after I come, and sometimes I cry, so I hope that isn't a big deal to you. Yeah, well, okay, I honestly don't care. Just do whatever. You don't even have to ejaculate on me or in me or if you don't want to. She pulls her tank top up a bit so that I can see her tits. I suck on her right nipple while I put my dick out pulling my dick out from my shorts. She moans for a few seconds, but it seems like she's pretending for my good. I lick her face like a dog, suck on one of her ears, and drool down her chest while I finger her. Her head keeps spinning around and it makes me dizzy, so I shut my eyes when I thrust into her. I press her head back against the cold mirror, tightly squeeze her left breast, and place the other hand on her right hip. She holds herself up and elbows the handle on the sink that turns the water on. We fuck for a few minutes, but then I'm forced to stop. My chest feels like it's going to explode, and I think it's because I haven't had the time to relax and do any drugs. She looks at me confusedly and asks, why'd you stop? I bite my lip and start sobbing into my shirt. I'm still half naked. One of her hands brushes against my shoulder, and I almost hit her in the fucking face, but I'm able to differentiate her from the others that I've killed today. I should probably just fucking hit her anyway. Hey, it's okay. You're okay. Everything's fine. You're going to get through this. Shut up. Just shut up. I don't even know what I'm doing. Do you know what you're doing? I mean, wow. How fucking stupid. Don't look at me like that. Don't say that type of shit to me. Seriously, I'm a freaking animal, and I'm crying because I was sexually abused as a child, and my mom was a freaking whore when I was a kid, and I'm a schizophrenic idiot, and I'm here doing this with you, and it's also freaking frigged. I don't even know your name or anything about you. In fact, I don't even want to see you again. A part of me really hates you. Can you feel that? I bet you hate me too, but that's okay. Maybe I should just try to kill myself again tomorrow. It seems like that's the only choice I have left. I might have killed my fucking mother today. I just couldn't fucking deal with her bullshit anymore. Always beating the living shit out of me and telling me that I'm worthless, that I should fucking die. And then I just learned that I'm a fucking rape baby. Do you even know how any of that fucking feels? And you know the voices are slowly fucking, they're like they're just fucking feels, and the voices are coming, and it's only getting worse. I'm seeing things, and I never see things, and then Just let me suck you off. You're gonna be fine. Let me put your dick in my mouth, and then it will make you feel better. That's what you really want, right? Fuck it. She grabs my dick and I slap her face as hard as I can. A bit of blood runs down her chin, and she wipes it off with her tank top. She looks back up at me, grins wryly, her tongue pressing against the inside of her bottom lip, and she rants, "Yeah, you're going to kill yourself? Well, maybe I will too. I mean, look at me and what I do to myself. You think I'm pretty? Think I'm beautiful? I know I'm never a good fuck. I just want to get raped all over again, relive my worst memories. Tell me that I'm worthless. You know, I don't even know what to do about myself, and neither does anyone else, so I should do it too. I'm 19, so I've had time to think about this. My dad is like, I know you were gang raped and stuff, but it's time to get a job, go to college, move out, get a life, find a purpose, find a meaning of your life and shit. What kind of life? Like, what the fuck does that shit even mean? There's zero chance of this PTSD and BPD, BAP shit insanity ever dissipating down the fucking drain. So what makes him think that I will ever be able to get a fucking job? Why would I? What would I even do there? Have anxiety attacks during my burger flipping job and get fired over it? Where would I live? You can't live on minimum wage. See, I'm worthless. Yeah, I should just move on, get over it all. Thanks, Dad. Yeah, like you know what to do. What with me when you've gone through what I've gone through, right, Daddy? You don't lay in bed with thoughts of being gang raped every night or deal with a night terrorist that I have. See, I definitely need to kill myself. You want to hear some shit? Huh? Hundreds of thousands of people die every day, yet the world continues to spin and others live on oblivious to this. A friend dies in a car accident. Your daughter was gang raped on a walk home from work. A distant relative murdered in a terrorist attack. You can't even afford a plane ticket to see their funeral. You just found out that you have terminal cancer. Your ex-husband's sister died in a car crash. You want to hold her hand one last time. Transgender person was shot in the face on the street and her funeral was protested by Christian militants. You lost your job and your daughter doesn't want you to visit you anymore. Someone at war just watched their friends get blown to pieces. A man has been drinking himself to sleep for the past 2 decades. Your boyfriend doesn't know that you had a miscarriage. A 9-year-old girl was walking to school and ended up picked off the streets and trafficked across the country as a sex slave. You ended up cutting you too deep this time. You were raped in a bathroom by someone who you thought was your friend. Your parents disowned you for your sexuality, and some depressed freak just killed his abusive mother minutes before committing suicide. Look at you with your erect dick curved upwards at me, all tiny and ugly with that slimy skin covering it all up. Come on, just let me suck you off and then we'll leave this place and commit suicide together. Wait 1 second. Do you know what it is that causes someone to eventually stop crying after they do so, say, like, for 15 minutes? No, wait, what? What was the last question again? My crying begins to lessen down. I slap my dick against my hand, jerk it until it's finally hard, and nod my head. She pulls her ass out of the sink, water still running, gets on her knees and licks all over my balls. I grab a bunch of her hair, get in a nice knot and pull it while she sucks me off. The pain turns her on, but then I start to feel bad, so I just put my hands behind my head. I bite my lip and whine, fuck. Don't bite on the foreskin, please. Watch the teeth. I swear to God that women are the worst at sucking dick. Her eyes look back up at mine, and she deep throats me for a few minutes until I come. Semen spills down from her mouth and to her neck in thick, slimy white globs, as steady as bits of it sink into the scars on her knees. I use my left thumb to wipe some of it off her mouth, and then I lick it up. She looks so strung out and fucked up, and it's fucking disgusting. Feel better now? I help her stand back up and pull my shorts up. Someone's banging on the door. Well, I think people have been beating on it for about an hour now. I walk over to it, keeping my eye on her, and respond, honestly, I don't feel any better, and I'm glad you don't feel as bad. You're just a fucking twat, though. Sorry, I don't even know why I said that. Sometimes I think I'm rude to women at times because I see my mother in them, and that's sort of fucked up, knowing that we just fucked and you just sucked me off. No, I should be the one apologizing. I'm a fat whore, and I just pressured you into all of this. The only reason you would want to say you're sorry about calling me a twat is because it slipped out and that's how you really feel. And to be honest, that's valid. But you're wrong. I'm not confused. And I know I meant to say, by the way, if you hate your dad so much, then you should just kill him. He's an asshole. And he treats you like you're less than zero. Just fucking murder him. Thanks for the quick fuck, though. I exit the bathroom and she gets a chance to fancy me. I exit the bathroom before she gets a chance to fancy me any more than she already has. The thought of her is already vanishing from my mind. I'll forget her and everything that just happened by tomorrow morning. She's just another hole to fill, a cunt that I've never seen again. I hope that she takes her advice and kills her fucking dad. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say.
Wow. Holy
Wow.
That was intense.
Oh
That
man.
was amazing,
That
and
was
I'm
great.
sorry for the chat.
That was like staying late at like a punk show and hearing like the best band like play at the end. If you left early, you missed out.
Man, I have to tell you, I'm pretty offended that I don't have that book yet. So
Me too.
Man, I don't think anyone could
I
follow
am.
that. That's like trying to follow Slayer or something. Like, no, the book is a relentless onslaught of that. It's that for like 838 pages.
Jesus Christ.
That's the book. That's what I'm working on now.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's funny when hearing something like that, it's kind of funny the way that a piece like that like perfectly captures what it's like to be like in your late teens and early 20s and to be like, yeah, my life is fucked. It's over. Even if you never had any like personal experiences that even remotely resembled like that, like, I don't know, like it wasn't like, I have no life experiences that are in any way remotely similar to those described in the piece. And yet immediately I was like, yes, I know exactly how that feels to be like a washed up piece of shit 20-year-old and to think that's the end of the world, you know?
Yeah, this guy's a real thing, and he wrote it all down with a like gallows sense of humor and like just complete abandon. And yeah, we're gonna put it out, and I hope you guys like it.
Yeah, holy shit. Rudy, who's up next?
I believe Marcus Faith is up next.
Marcus, you still here?
Yeah, still here.
Sweet. Hey, Marcus.
How's it going, guys? Yeah, I feel like the Disney Channel after that shit, dude. So I'm just gonna. I got like one little short poem that I can do for you guys.
Sure, take it away.
So this is called "Listening to My Heart Is Like." Listening to my heart is like so faint in watermelon flesh, exposed to the tongue, if that at best, like thin a mosquito's wing or the reflection in a spider's dismal eye, a tiny machine drawn to your blood, craving a spice that is bestial in intimate jetty crimson breaks, like dioramas in 1/1000th the scale of greed, distant like the North Star and stacks of clouds piled up high like toxic dreams. That was it.
Awesome. Wow.
I like Toxic Dreams.
That was really good.
Yeah. I did a
So
lot of
concise. I
emotion
love it.
packed into a very concise package, which I think when it comes to poetry, like you really want that. A lot of times something that can be relatively short and just be like, bam, you know?
1/1000th the
Yeah.
scale of greed. I love that line. That's
The delivery was amazing too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
Well, thanks.
Wow.
Yeah, the rhythm of it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Rudy,
Yeah,
who do
it's
we-
just impossible to catch up on the chat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the chat has gotten far, far away from me. I haven't even been able to, haven't even really been following it.
I think you can save the chat logs too if you want it.
Oh damn, yeah, I'll have to look
Okay.
into that. Rudy, who do we have up next here?
I guess it's me unless somebody else wants to jump in there before me. I didn't see anybody else in the chat, but if I miss somebody, jump in.
No, you take it away,
Go
Rudy.
for it, man.
Rudy, I hope you.
Yeah, and also the host will also see all the private messages, which is fun.
Oh, well.
Oh, really? Okay.
So.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Rudy, I hope you won't be too offended if I run to the bathroom while you're reading, because I've been drinking, not drinking, but I've been drinking for like 3 hours now, and I really, really have to go. So take it
I
away.
have
Rudy.
been drinking for 3 hours, and I don't have to go anywhere.
Oh boys. All right. So I'm going to read from these dumbass stories that I wrote. They're really short. They're called War Fragments. That's the name of the piece. It was on the Mystery Tourism site. Let me pull it up here. I'm sorry. Oh boy. Oh, I don't have that link. Okay. You know what? I'll just give you the link right here. That's the link to my my personal site. It's still hosted there. So either way, okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roll a D11 because there's 11 stories and read these stories randomly. I'll read well, let's see how many I'll read. Let's roll a D6. Okay, I'll read 4 of them randomly. Yeah, let me start the dice up here. All right, that's a 12. Okay, but that's not okay. Oh, okay, there we go. That's so an 11. Okay, so the last one. Okay, the one I'm reading now is called War is Cool. Oops. Oh, sorry. Can you guys still hear me? My my mic just died a little bit here. Great. All right, War is Cool. Ridge 379 looks unimportant on a map, but has big Khazad-dûm feels when you're scaling it with hundreds of other soldiers. Pieces of grunts and pylon or blurry falling men in my periphery. The soundscape is a movie turned up way too loud, not even a war film, something gay like Underworld. I'm told this objective has military significance, but I can't see it from here, and the camera can't see me either. 80% projected casualties mean that I'm a speck, among other specks, in some wide shot that's probably mostly CGI. Me multiplied 100 times as disposable _soldier rig. Memorial Day in the future is someone in an Autodesk program mousing over my petrified skinless instance and reading its ID number. F. Up above are at least 10 to 12 heavily armed troopers, math that makes me gnash my teeth, and the director's eye certainly waters for them. Several men, a dyke, a couple love interests, a rainbow of first-to-die bullet sponges, maybe a corgi with a sniper rifle on its back. Every action is aesthetic. Troopers ride the rhythm of the 50 cal just right as the over-the-shoulder camera swivels with its motion. Bullets cut down uniformed scarecrows in time to some score, beats for the beaten zone. Green Day's in my comms. And you, director? Life in every word of jargon. Joe and Willie Pete do the tango. Flash, flourish, slow breathing. My wave crests over the top. We're going to overrun them, but a senior class load of us had to die first. And they're the stars. We're just cannon fodder. It's cut to black after we win. A round shatters my shoulder, so I scream a non sequitur in the hopes of attaining cult status as the first person machine gun cam captures my downfall. Maybe I can be like Lucio still fine. I'm bleeding. All right, so let me check the next one here. Next one's a 9. Story number 9 is called Parade. Military parades in heaven are gay. Love goose stepping in front of big missiles painted with Proc Gen slogans by the Fab. Can't read, but one of the angels quoted some highlights. Mid or feed. Hang all Tiggers. Nerf gay rights. Love the parade floats strung with dead POWs hanging off the old barbed wire, which some of the choir boys groan about, but not us. Love the spirit of corpse, or whatever it's called, that possesses me and makes me feel like our army is one huge gelatinous cube phagocytosising over every reb, collecting skeletons inside of us. Our regimental flag is a picture of a total party wipeout. Hate, hate, hate having to dress up. Bullshit. Pixel camo rocks, but my stomach wraps itself in a bonnet-shaped bow. Not whenever I see female dress browns. Short skirt, long jacket doesn't sit right on my body or my mind. We've changed uniform standards twice in this theater to look more presentable to the locals. First one was way worse. Think made hentai. Its appeal was found to be limited somehow. Now it's all about those perennial mini dresses, girl suits that emerge in the 80s of any century. Big shoulder is whispering. A girl is blank space where you can put anything as long as you write really small. Skirt yelling, I'm different. Hey, I'm not a boy. I pretend I don't have feet when I'm in these shoes. The opposite of phantom limb syndrome. An IED took them both. Jesus fucking Christ. The aesthetic is still pretty weeb overall. Kill la kill where the uniform does the heavy lifting, assuming you're at least a D cup. And when I pivot my head to meet the gaze of the high command, I imagine the physical manifestation of the thing Iris Elbow says in that blaxploitation movie. I'm not taking no girls. Roll again. That's a 3. Okay. Story number 3 is called Forged. Language is totalitarian is what the fascist government that banned reading tells me. Language is magic, and that's totally gay in a bad way and scary. Those writing angels, obsessed with their fandoms and stories, deserve to die because they write things into real life. That's less space in real life for me. I hate the way things made with language come true. I fall asleep when people tell lie stories, which is my defense against them being true. Language is like a forge. A long time ago, an angel named Ronald forged the dwarves out of ink and paper and language fields from the desert. I'm kind of glad he did, I guess, because dwarves fix our weapons and Humvees. I saw a dwarf disassemble an AK in less time than it would take to say, get your football-size asses across that no man's land and sing your ballads of stone, or a stone's ballad, or fucking anything. Be loud now, and keep running towards the enemy trench. That trench is empty. We blasted it to hell with our arty. Which is a lie story that the general is telling the Dwarven division right now. They'll die, and we'll sleep an extra hour before our big push. And the last one is going to be a 2. So this story is called Mobilization. It was 2 weeks into training that I was promoted to gun thug, and the opportunities just opened up from there. Most of the time, I want to hurt other people or myself. The Army is about doing both of those in moderation, the driller told me while I was PTing and tasting that familiar vomit for someone else flavor, like I'm 8 again with my BF and a little too roly-poly from winter rations. We were always trained to aim high while shooting because most of the people we would be fighting, are all old and grown. I'm not going to shoot a grandpa or some shit, I said like a dumb idiot. After the beating, it was explained to me that the angels, our enemy, were like grandpa in stature, just more healthy. What's the point of learning everything under fire? That's a question I asked too much. The answer was always, camera pans away while an ass whooping takes place. We're in the barracks, shining our standard issue black plastic sandals. Joer comes in with an AK and starts spraying everywhere. We're in the shower once a month. Bullets fly around and threaten to bite bare asses. We're in the club, right? Taking morphine gummies to zonk out before deployment. Driller is there too, and he's frothing at the mouth and ejecting slugs everywhere. Driller's name was Bill. We called him Bullet Bill because he was always right behind us with the threat of taking a life. In a human wave attack, you have to run forward as fast as you can and not turn around ever. If you do, you'll see Bullet Bill back there with his wide eyes and huge fucking gun, screaming slurred admonishments and grimacing. And that's it.
Man, man, I always
Awesome.
love your shit. I mean, I
So
really dug the wordplay in those, though. Like, I don't know how your synapses fire the way that they do, but man, I fucking
I
love
don't know either, honestly.
Well put.
Could you do you have that shared anywhere? A couple of people were asking for it in the chat.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I thought I put a link in here. Maybe I didn't. Let's see. That is that's not on the Misery Tourism site, but that's one place I have it shared, so.
That's what I thought. I thought we hadn't published them yet, so I figured they were on your page.
I did post
Can I
some, but
share this or no?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
no,
Is it on the internet or?
Yeah.
Yeah, he just put the.
I just put the link in the chat. Yeah.
Right. How did I miss this?
I don't know when we published it, but
publish some excerpts
and no,
from
it's not a virus. It just looks like one because of my bad HTML CSS skills.
Rudy, my memory should be better than this, but when did we publish these?
I actually don't remember either, honestly. I think it was probably a couple of months ago. It's called War Fragments.
Oh, Warfare. Okay, yes, yep, okay, absolutely. That must have been part of.
I'm looking for it.
I think we might have published it in March.
That sounds right. I think.
Let me just see.
I'm just misspelling everything.
Let's see if I can.
Yeah, Rudy, the way you.
No, I can't find it. Or is it Misery Tourism? All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the link in the chat right now. It's Misery Tourism / War Fragments with
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
And just to, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but if you guys go there and like the stories, and you can fill out the Google form, and I'll write more about whatever you fill it out, or even if you just say, hey, you're a fucking idiot, I'll write a story about that, whatever. So.
I just want to mention everyone should read Hogsburg, which is one of Rudy's pieces on misery tourism. It's really funny.
Thanks.
That's the one which made me submit in the first place. It was just so hilarious.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh, cool. I'm glad you liked it. I have a thing for Civil War burials, I guess, if that's a thing, but kind of a hobby of mine. So yeah, that's where that came from.
Yeah, I like Civil War stuff too. Trying to tweet this out.
Just put the link to Hogsburg in the chat too, in case anyone wants to check that one out.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah, thanks for the writing.
Rudy, is anyone else?
Is Magnetic Gloom? Is that who is up next? I see somebody saying. Okay. Cool.
I wrote this at the end of my marriage, basically on the way out the door, and I was like entirely infuriated and just actually offended when I wrote it, and it still, like, every time I read it over, it just pisses me off still. So you used to have a knack for being so damn harmonic about the way I always tend to be so sardonic. Sit back and talk for hours, pour another gin and tonic, but anymore these days you're too fucking laconic. And I'm angry and I'm mad. You chose to ruin what we had. You treated me like I was a fad and told me I have no right to be sad. Well, fuck you, and fuck the way you act so cavalier. Your bullshit little act is a very thin veneer. Fool me once, shame on me, but now it's very clear that you've made treating people like objects into a fucking career. And I'm bitter, abjuring everything I ever said to lift you up and build you up inside your fucking head, expressing all the things I love to keep your ego fed, when all your effort went into making me wish I was dead, and impervious to any card that you have left to draw. I tried so hard, I know your heart will never fucking thaw. Such an unfortunate, insufferable, unattractive little flaw. And with every person you lose, it'll have been the final straw. I'm celebrating the removal of your malignant fucking presence, trying to change what makes me me, trying to drain me of my essence. Who I am will always fucking reign with a vengeance, so maybe find another girl who more so fits your preference. But I'm worried for the next one who falls for your tricks. Her impending misery makes me feel fucking sick. Looking back, I can't fathom how you appeared to be so slick, but it turns out that your only talent was pretending that's your shtick. I'm washing my hands of you and all your shit. I know for a fact already that I won't miss it one bit. I've moved on and I will find a place I truly fit, and I'm so thankful I finally found my way out of your pit. Ugh.
Wow.
Oh wow, awesome.
Awesome.
Another spectacular delivery again. Just bam.
I'm jealous of anyone who can rhyme, because I can't rhyme because my brain is too fucked up.
Chris had wanted me to read this like really like pompous manic one that I wrote that like literally has so many rhymes in it, you get like lost in the like just it's just so it's convoluted as fuck.
Read your bio. Born at a very early
Hang on. I'll pull it up. This is fucking It makes me laugh. I don't even know what kind of mood I was in when I wrote it. Absolutely awkward, redundantly superfluous, super chill, and mentally ill. A human being. I am unique just like everyone else, and my brain has too many tabs open. I was born at a very young age, and I have a new theory that human adolescence doesn't end until your early 30s. I'm not sure how many problems I have because math is one of them, and if I could sum up my life in one line, I would die of embarrassment. I'm about as organized as the $5 DVD bin at Walmart, and the only thing stopping me from being pure white trash is my lack of motivation. The best of me is yet to come, so circumvent my circumlocution, I dare you.
And that is art.
That's
Circumvent
fantastic.
my circumlocution.
Yeah. Wow.
It's nice to like bring all kinds of talent out. I mean,
Manuel and Sketty teach me.
what?
What?
Manuel and Sketty teach me the most vocabulary.
No idea what you're saying, but it's good. When the street comes out, it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
The delivery of that poem reminded me, and I mean this in a good way, not in a bad way, but reminded me of Falling in Reverse, the most recent material that they've put out.
Yeah, it's like that's like raw anger. Like I'm still it happened the end of 2018, and like my entire life is still in that townhouse with him and his wife. So like she's living with my hand painted outlet covers and everything, and it just pisses me off.
No,
Like she just stepped into my life and took it over. So fuck her, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so, I don't know. The relationships and like changing stages in life is so fucking weird. It's like it really is like you have left some portion of yourself kind of lingering there in the ether and you're just fucking somewhere else. It's very, I don't know. Maybe I'm just saying that because I've moved like 3 times in the last year.
Do another.
Rudy,
One more.
oh, sorry.
Do another one.
Oh yeah.
I can do that one that Eris wanted me to do.
Yeah.
Where did it stick? Oh, there it is. This is like in the throes of like the most manic I've ever been in my entire life, by the way. Everything I write is paradoxically an anomaly, a monopoly of words placed methodically, a commodity neglected chronically, and a fucking prodigy lacking all velocity. The conformity of wording things melodically and the velocity expected is exhaustively, draining what's left of my ferocity and clearly is merely an oddity. It seems though that recently I have exponentially increased my productivity, but it's the plausibility that with my volatility, my sporadic instability will be the proclivity to my standard inability. I wish my words were symbolic, maybe even hypnotic. I'm just being toxic trying to make it sound erotic. Call me caustic for always bringing up this fucking topic, but the shit could be cosmic if you followed my logic. You must be linguistic or else an artistic. I was born enthusiastic, my mind is prismatic. I'm always sarcastic, I'm generally enigmatic, magnetic, neurotic, apologetic, emphatic, likely symptomatic of being raised melodramatic. Some would say traumatic, but I say climactic. Unfortunately, still I'm always going to be problematic. Wow. I don't even fuck that up anymore. That's a lot of it's convoluted as fuck.
That's great.
Oh, that was lit.
That was
It's like
great.
fucking gunfire. Like,
Yeah.
That was the first thing I'd wrote after a 10-year break. 10 years. I was just like, I'm manic. I'm gonna write.
All the delivery on that's wow, that was amazing.
I wish I could get manic and write. Like it's beyond. It's a capacity I don't have. Like everything I've ever written has been after like just a long, long period of time of like stewing with this shit inside my head, and then you have to like reach in and pull it out, like an abscessed tooth or something. Ugh. But
I have a lot of stuff like that where it's just me trying to like verbally express the sheer fucking emptiness but by the time I get to the end of it, I'm like so like pleased with what I've got down that it kind of isn't so bad.
so, Rudy, who's up next?
I don't think there's anybody in the queue right now.
Oh,
so jump in.
anyone want to read? We could possibly squeeze 1 or 2 more people in if somebody really wants to read.
I think I saw that Carter had volunteered.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Sorry, Carter.
Carter, sorry, did we miss you here?
Oh no, it's all good. I actually just like choked swallowing, so I was kind of hoping that no one would say anything.
You're welcome.
Maybe it'll make it more hardcore. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. Go right ahead.
I'm just gonna read a quick thing. It's like a song/poem, and it's like the only thing I've ever written that takes place in this universe. So, give me just a second, because I have like beer in my throat.
Sure, absolutely. Take all the time you need.
All right, I think we're good. This is called Cold Medicine. Early winter's rough, but it made me steal into CVS's, shifty-eyed, hazy, snatch a couple packs of triple C's, and fucking bolt back to Jake's with cold medicine. I'm in love with everyone who was ever nice to me. Smoking gas station cigarillos in the snow, and for some reason driving some Republican's Nissan with a bunch of other children for money. My name was kind of fucked up then. My gender was an old movie poster. Anyway, we'd take the pills and wait it out with a nap on the south side of Nap. Going zombie half an hour from my curfew, only to trade whatever for Xannies at school the next day. Puking up Mucinex in marketing class and wishing January would last forever. Well, nowadays I'm only cold when I dream. Sleeping pretty, just popped a hydroxyzine and read some Abercrombie. Back then, I was wearing Abercrombie and writing songs about ketamine. Well, some days I get an itch in my nose and wonder how far genetics go before the weather outside takes over instead. I mean, why do I know how much Tylenol makes you only almost dead? And why do we live where it's so cold? Swiping generic NyQuil through the self-checkout at Walmart and slipping on sleep back to Zach's whip. Ripping off mom for orange chicken and not leaving a tip, feeling basically like shit. Slinging my dead grandma's pills in chemistry class and telling myself that's what you call cold medicine. Back then, I was always in trouble and always in fights, blood seeping from my nose most nights, and my tongue met it, bloodletting myself for cold medicine, feeling kinda tight. Sniffing bad coke and Vicodin, hoping my friends like me. Scraping out a chillum with elixir guitar strings I bought for a perk 10. Feeling basically okay. And also terrified of death, I mean terrified of life, terrified of my friends, terrified of sex at 16 with ED and my sort of friend's sister's bed, because painkillers make you itchy. I've come a long way, but not really. That's it.
Oh, wow, man.
Wow, please make that into a song, like, with music, because I want to jam to that.
Yeah, seriously.
There's nothing better than a fucking epic last sentence, and that's.
Oh yeah. That made me feel like I was back with my college friends.
Yeah, it's about being like 16 for me, or like 16, 17.
That's a great shirt.
So,
the worst drug experience I ever had was being on alcohol, weed, acid, and Mucinex at the same time. And
God
so doing
damn.
Mucinex, make it
Wow.
into there was a very.
Yeah.
It was nice to know other people have been there.
Is Mucinex something people use?
Dextromethorphan.
Oh, okay.
Terrible but cheap way. To
Maybe
get high, I guess.
I just took it because I was sick and I didn't think about the fact that it probably wouldn't interact well with alcohol, and that tripping while those two things were fighting in my body was not going to be a good time.
Oh boy, yikes.
Yeah, Christ Jesus.
I learned something new today.
So, Rudy, is that it? Is that the cue?
He was the real.
I think that's it, unless I missed somebody in here. It was scrolling pretty fast. I might have missed somebody.
I
If
got
I
it.
did, sorry. But yeah, if I did,
You
jump
should
in
have
there.
got emo and I had to get out of here.
Excerpt?
Sorry?
Can I read an excerpt?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool.
She got like to fucking like actually what was it?
James Newlick, I sent this to James Newlick, and James Newlick, like, literally printed it out and, like, hand wrote notes on it.
And I had
And,
to
like,
fucking like threaten her. I'm like, you're not
Yeah.
reading this until like you read some fucking Valencia.
yeah. Yeah. So. I'll post a link here. Just give me a second. Alright, there's a link. I'm just gonna read a little part of it. I used to break down in tears when I saw a lonely old man eating clam chowder alone. I'd have to forcefully resist the urge to run over to him, wailing, wrapping my arms around his thick neck, which sprouted moles and varicose veins, and cry into his sweater vest. I see you. I see you, and I understand you, and no matter what's plaguing your wounded and weary heart, you're not as far gone as you worry you are. I'm everyone who's ever left that you miss in the middle of the night, and you're everyone I've ever had to say goodbye to, and I know it hurts. This life hurts. But let's just be the absent love, because we're looking for the same thing, you and I. Everyone in this whole damn world is looking for the same thing, and we're all blind to the fact that we give it to each other. By breathing, being honest, and telling each other the fucked up things we are convinced only happen to us. We laugh at our pain and make each other holy. We make each other holy, you know, every time we see each other naked soul to naked soul, with no pretense or judgment or accusation or expectation standing in between. I want to make you holy. I want to make you feel more loved than you've ever felt. But I more so want you to be certain in the belief that you belong. Everyone in the world is scared of each other, but we delay death of body and soul by just seeing one another. And I see you, and I love you. Because, you know, that's probably not what a 90-year-old man eating clam chowder, trying not to shit his pants, wants to hear from a psychotic stranger. But I used to feel so connected to everyone, like we were all links in this universal chain of beautiful being, and I really felt moved to do shit like that.
Well,
Awesome.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Oh.
The first part reminds me almost of like Smashing Pumpkins, like from Melancholy and Infinite Sadness, something from that.
Fucking shit.
I take that
That's
the
my
wrong
favorite
way.
album, for sure. Favorite
I,
album.
yeah, I love that album. That's wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
Piece of the '90s there.
I was listening to a lot of Bright Eyes when I wrote that, actually.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That whole piece that I wrote is just like pure cognitive dissonance. Like,
You should all read the whole piece if you haven't. It's really good.
thank you.
Rudy, if I was thinking, I should have had a bet with Brandon to see whether you mentioned Smashing Pumpkins or Kurt Cobain first tonight.
I was gonna mention Kurt Cobain, the Carter's piece, but I said, you know what, we'll let Kurt rest tonight.
Yeah.
Wait, what
He's
the
earned
fuck?
his
You met
rest.
Connor Oberst? That's fucking sick.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Fuck. Just immediately, did you fuck?
Oh my god.
Fuck, that's awesome. If I ever met that guy, I would just fucking break down crying. Like,
Oh, so is that it? Is that the whole queue? Is there anyone else? I was thinking we could go to 11 with the open mic, but if nobody else wants to read, we can. I will give. Is there anyone else who maybe wants to read at this point? No? Okay. Well, in that case, I think I'm gonna.
Era said she had a page of James Nolick's books that she wanted to read. I think if Manuel will let her.
I think
Manuel
Manuel, you did
might
out
be
here.
AFK.
away from the. Yeah, I think he might be AFK at the moment.
For sure.
Hey, folks, I unfortunately have to head out, but this was really wonderful, William. Thanks so much for putting this together and letting me read. I had a fantastic time.
Yeah, Michael, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. And man, you really killed it, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, have a good one.
And you guys are going to be doing this on Fridays pretty consistently, you think?
Yeah, that's the plan. We're definitely going to do it next Friday as well.
Okay.
Eventually, I might start staggering it Friday and one other day because I know when we did the poll, there were some people who wanted a weekday. But Friday was kind of the overwhelming favorite. But for now, it's going to be Fridays at 8. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, I'll keep an eye out for the next post. And yeah, great job reading, everybody. This was wonderful. And yeah, talk soon.
Yeah, awesome. Have a good one.
I'm going to go eat dinner also, but thanks so much, William and Rudy, for administrating and organizing. And thanks to everybody who read. Y'all are really, really awesome.
Yeah. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Yeah.
And so I think I'm going to end the recording at this point. Thank you to everyone who came. I'm going to leave the call up or leave the Zoom meeting up so people can just hang out or whatever if they want until it kind of empties out or whatever. But I think that kind of concludes the formal reading. Formal. Yeah, so anyway, thanks guys. Thank you so much once again to everyone who read tonight. Really appreciate the really fucking spectacular turnout we had for the first time doing this.
Yeah,
and
like 30 people or something.
Yeah, I think we peaked at around 35, which is wild.
Okay.
And thank you for being patient with me. And I don't know what I'm doing, but yeah, thanks guys. Okay, and I'm stopping the recording.